Welcome to Her Big Girls Attack on Titan podcast. I'm Mom Taco.
And I'm Luna.
Our guest this month is Tumblr meta writer Linkspooky. Link, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, I'm Link. I have opinions. I like Eren. Can I have my $20 now?
It's funny, right before we started recording, I was reading over your guest application, and your guest application was like one of the funniest I've ever read. Something that you mentioned in it is that, I'm just going to read this, okay? You were talking about how a lot of Jaegers and Eren stans complain about your takes on him, which is funny because you said, I love Eren. I just see him for what he is, a little kid in a giant meat suit, piloting it like an Evangelion, trying to feel big because he can make the meat man punch things.
Okay, that might be a little tacky laughing at my own joke, but I totally forgot I say that. Sorry. Sometimes on the internet, I like to pretend to have a personality. I think I'm much more boring in real life, but none of you have to meet me in real life, so I can fool you into thinking I'm funny and clever when I'm not.
You also mentioned that, you really love talking about Eren and Reiner's foils and that you do see the positive qualities, but it's more fun to harp on the negative. And, Eren in particular, like Reiner's not being as terrible right now, so he's not as much fun to pick on. So I can relate.
Yeah, no, I could totally pick on Reiner too. I think he's being kind of lame too. It's just, he's lame in a more pathetic way, whereas Eren's lame in a, actively virulent way.
Absolutely, burn the world kind of way, which is, there's a lot to unpack with Eren.
Eren is like, burn the world. Reiner's like, oh, can I take a nap? I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, we're excited to have you on the podcast this month. And I don't know if you're a listener, but in case you are not, we always start with chapter impressions. And basically, that's just a minute or two. Did you like the chapter? Did you love it, hate it? Did anything stand out to you? So, Link, since you're our guest this month, why don't you go first?
Okay. So the past 3 chapters have been a lot of treading water to get to the big reveals. Okay, I guess my first initial impressions were why are they even bringing out the blimps? The blimps obviously aren't going to work. It's like in Godzilla movies when they try to nuke Godzilla, that literally never works. Yeah, it feels like we've been dancing around the Eren issue, swirling around the drain instead of directly confronting it. And I kind of wish they just flush the toilet already and get to the heart of the matter. It feels like building up a big mystery where there is none. As we said, it kind of just seems like Eren wants to destroy the world because he's very angry and disappointed in people and tired of conflict. So it feels weird that the mysteries are getting extended this long, but I guess this sounds like every chapter we get a chapter of buildup. I'm like, this seems like the last chapter of buildup and things are going to ramp up, but it's probably not. I actually really liked the talk they tried to do this chapter, but it also felt kind of, damn. Okay, here's one more thing I wanted to rant about before you cut me off. Okay, well, we're going to talk about the failed talk no jutsu later, but I usually hate the word talk no jutsu, because, the thing in Naruto, the reason why the talk no jutsus fell so flat was because they'd go over the guy's tragic backstory, and they'd be like, oh, let's appeal to common reason, let's talk with him, but then they just, kill him, 5 minutes afterwards, so, what was the point of it, yo? But, I actually feel there's a lot you can do with, talking in the middle of these big conflicts and, calling each other out, and, there's a lot of potential character development. So it didn't read a talk no jutsu to me. It read this is everybody's individual reaction to the disaster.
Yeah.
I think what was so annoying about Naruto is that they were in the final fight, they were exchanging blows, and then it's oh no, let me try to appeal to your softer side. We can talk this out. It's when things have escalated to that point, usually talking is not really an option anymore. I will be curious to see what happens.
Also, Naruto isn't thematically a very pacifist manga, or at least it ends without the big war conflicts being resolved because, the ninja system is still in place. So all the talks just kind of feel superfluous,
Well, it's about the power of friendship. I'm not sure that this manga will do that as the same thing.
No, I don't think so. So far, it's about the power of Eren being a shitty friend.
Pretty much.
What about you, Luna? What did you think about 133?
Okay, so this was the first time we read a chapter together for the first time, I think.
It is. It is. It was my first time reading a chapter with anybody ever. So, but I know we laughed a lot, but I never really asked you afterwards, like, you haven't discussed it with me yet. What did you think, Luna?
I think I laughed a lot at Levi. I have a lot of thoughts about Levi and Reiner. And I feel like my whole world has been flipped upside down. Like everything that I thought before would happen, I'm doubting now. So I feel like all my predictions to this point have changed, I think. So for me, the chapter was kind of a game changer, but I don't necessarily think I like it if I think it's going the way that I think it's going now. I am very happy, though, that we got to see Papa Leonhard in action. God, I love that man. He's so awesome.
Did he take like the entirety of the ghetto and put him in? Oh, I probably shouldn't call him that.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it was a good, fun chapter with a lot of interesting things happening in it. Some good, some maybe not so good. That kind of summarizes my thoughts. What were yours, Mom Taku?
I love this chapter, which is funny because I was telling Link before you got on that I'm awful at math, and you actually made a little thing so that I could get the average rating of a chapter. I plugged in the numbers from the poll, and we have over 1,000 now, so that's usually a really good sample to get an idea of what people think about it. So all Attack on Titan chapters do really well in the ratings. Like most everyone loves every chapter. We complain, but we complain because we love it. So this chapter, when I entered in the numbers that we have so far, we've been keeping a ranking now for 43 chapters. This one's at number 32, which is really low. So it's coming in 32 out of 43, which I'm a little surprised by because this chapter, well, it's not as bad as Ha Ha Pie. Okay. It's nowhere near Ha Ha Pie levels. I agree. There were some ass pulls and some like complete narrative conveniences inserted into this chapter, but I just thought it was so much fun. I think like when I take off my meta writer hat or this must all make sense hat and just enjoy a chapter, I did not enjoy the plain conversation, which we'll get into. I mean, I did enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy like the corny dialogue. But as a whole, I was thoroughly entertained. And I don't know if it's because I was reading it with Luna or not, but from page 1 to page 44, I was totally entertained. So I liked it. I would give this chapter like maybe a 7 out of 10. It did what it needed to do for me.
To be fair, I think a lot of people had a negative reaction to like the two chapters that were mostly just like us being in like, okay, the one with the seagulls where it ends with Eren's severed head at the end. I think I reacted to that one way more positively than a lot of people did, but that might just have been my joy at seeing Eren's severed head just floating there.
I mean, that was one of my favorite chapters. It still is. But I think the fandom reaction has been interesting, and I wonder if it mostly has to do with Eren and his confession this chapter.
I have my theories on that too. Well, let's get into the chapter discussion of 133 Sinners, and I've broken our outline up into the geography of the chapter. So we're going to start with the plane crew. Those bombs in the background as the crew is sitting there, like those bombs are going to get used.
I mean, how not to be safe with bombs? That looks like they're about ready to go off at any minute. Like that's not how you store them safely, especially in a crappy plane that's held together by duct tape. And
it's out of fuel, held together with tinfoil, and loaded with explosives. What possibly could go wrong? So we did ask in the poll, like, what do you think? What's going to happen with this plane? Is Anyon-Kapon going to be able to land it safely? And I was curious, what do you guys think? Link, what do you think we should worry about the plane at this point? Or do you think this is just another where he's setting it up that, a bad thing might happen and then a bad thing doesn't happen?
I am 400% convinced the corniest thing possible is going to happen, and the plane's going to break, and Falco the Flying Titan is just going to swoop in and catch all of them, and Annie's just going to go Lady Titan, I don't know, do something. But that I'm 200% sure that's what's going to happen, even though it kind of sounds dumb. I'm sure it'll be cool in the moment.
I don't think it's that dumb because in the poll, we actually, I think in one of our farther down questions about what is Falco going to do? I was kind of amazed that 32.4% swooping in to save surviving Alliance members after the plane goes down. So you are in a third of the fandom that thinks that that plane is going down, and Falco's gonna, I don't know how, swoop in and save them. What about you, Luna?
What if he like finds Zeke and like eats him so that Eren cannot be like in the Pat's realm anymore?
I guess.
That would be karma, because Zeke did kill Falco's brother, sort of, kind of.
No, Cold lives. We don't say that here. Not in my house. Cold lives.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
It's fine. Don't worry.
So the rules here, Linkspooky, is we each get our thing that is canon fact, no matter what the story says. Luna's is that cult is still alive. Mine is fake pregnancy. And you can pick one too if you want. It's like your canon truth, and we are not allowed to fight you on this.
I think that shit, what is his name? Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. I forgot his name. The really annoying guy that everyone hates. The fascist guy that it's a giant Eren stan.
Oh, Flock.
Yeah, I think Flock is gonna come back from the dead a third time as like some sort of zombie and just never die. That's my canon fact. I don't even like Flock, but like he just keeps doing it.
I actually had a dream about Attack on Titan where he actually was still alive after Mikasa like cut his throat.
No, he got harpooned.
Yeah, harpooned his throat.
He's gonna come back like a third time. He's just a zombie at this point. You know that final panel we've seen at the end of the manga with somebody embracing a baby? That's Flock. He's the only one who lives.
Did you guys notice that this chapter, people are now theorizing it might be Mikasa holding baby Eren, which I think, I mean...
How would that work?
He's in Paz's realm. Maybe he can be a baby in Paz. I don't know.
He is already a toddler in Paz. I guess he could regress further.
I mean, why not? It's only a couple more years.
Question, is it possible for Eren to be more baby? Question mark, question mark?
I don't think so. He's bad baby now. Boss baby, bad baby, all the babies. Everything except baby boy baby. That's Reiner.
That's the foiling right there. Baby boy baby and evil baby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Anyan Kapan thing, one of the theories that I had not heard was that the plane's going to run out of fuel and Anyan Kapan is going to dive it into something and have the explosives explode, which, like you were saying with the Godzilla thing, that's not going to help. It's actually not going to help.
Oh, no, I don't want Anyan Kapan to die.
I don't either.
So normal. He's like the one normal guy. Like, you got all these psychos and very stunted emotionally people, and like you just got the one normal guy.
I know. And like this chapter is sinners. Like he's the only one in the group that I know of that's not like actively done like anything terrible.
So
he
that
was
means he
misled.
has to die, right?
I know. Him, yeah. But most of the fandom, 42, well, yeah, the plurality there, 42.2% think that it's not going to be it's going to be a non-issue, that, you know, they're going to land. So whatever. Yeah, I would like Anyan Kapan, but now I can't unsee that stupid suicide kamikaze bomber thing, and I'm angry about that.
I hadn't even considered it, so I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that might be a thing now. But why do you guys think it wouldn't work? Because in Fort Slava, I think when they dropped the Eldians, I think afterward they bombed the Titans as well, right, to clean up.
Because there's like 2 million of them?
I mean, yeah, I know. It's not going to stop all of them, but I do think it's going to take out some of them.
Can I change my thing? I want to change my thing to Anyan Kapan lives.
Okay. Anyan Kapan and Mr. Browse end up, you know, like the two best people in the world end up taking over government and becoming the leaders of the new world. I accept yours. I'm hanging on to fake pregnancy, but like, if that's shown to be untrue, I'm jumping on your bandwagon. Something else that got a lot of criticism. Now, I avoided spoilers, but I did read the fan translation first. And this idea that Levi was being chastised by Jean and that, you know, Levi was being, you know, must kill monkey. And Jean was like, now, Captain, don't forget the rest of us here. Of course, you know, the official translation completely changed the meaning of that scene entirely. Levi was actually just stating a possible, well, can't we just kill Zeke? And Jean was actually agreeing with him.
That's a big diff.
A huge difference, but once fandom perception happens, it happens. But I do think like this must kill monkey theme is like, I mean, we asked in the poll, like, which phrase are you sickest of all like the overused phrases from this chapter? Which one was it for you? Was it like must kill monkey or we are free or I was born?
Definitely we are free.
Once we got the official translation and it was a little bit easier on the Levi interaction, I was curious, what do you guys think? Do you think there is a chance that killing Zeke would affect the rumbling?
I'm very biased because I think it would be very hilarious if towards the end, if Levi just never ever got to kill Zeke, because that's like his one goal in life now. Well, obviously not, but it because he just keeps bringing it up and he just never gets to. Everything gets in the way. I think the person, nobody even knows where Zeke is right now. It hasn't that been brought up like 3 times? Like nobody knows what the fuck Zeke is doing or where he is or if he's even a part of this.
This chapter, if Levi is correct, he's attached to Eren. Mm-hmm. I don't know that that was presented as a narrative fact, but it was definitely explored that Zeke is connected to the centipede.
Yeah, and it would make sense, right? Because Eren would only still be able to be in paths if he had a connection to royal blood in the physical world.
I think it looks like it's mainly Ymir and Eren now, and doesn't Ymir count as royal blood?
True, but she is in the paths realm only, so I don't think that's enough. And also there was this theory by Kingsgrave, I don't know if someone else also came up with it, but that there's like this little part in the rib cage that is like disconnected from everything else, and he thinks that Zeke might be in there.
So it's like a video game boss monster where you got to kill the weak spot first?
Yes, and then the second form comes, and then the third, and then finally Zeke pops out, and then we can kill Eren.
You know, I do think, because we think about the last time we saw Zeke, not Paz, he was catching Eren's head as Eren's monstrosity began to grow. So if Zeke somehow, I think about like early in the series when Eren was in front of the firing squad with Kit Swarman and he formed a Titan form around Armin and Mikasa, like not deliberately, but it is possible that Eren did the same thing as that creature was forming around him, that Zeke is definitely part of that physical structure now. Uh-huh. I don't know that he's like in a Titan form in that structure or if he's in his human form, but I don't know. Makes sense to me that he would be attached at this point.
He's cradling him like a little baby.
Maybe.
See, he's protecting his older brother who he loves because that's what Eren does. He loves people.
The part of the plane crew conversation that I did not enjoy was that realization that we are all the same. Like when Connie gets that kind of goofy look on his face and Jean is like, that's right. We're all mass murderers here. We're all the same. Did either of you, I mean, I enjoy the concept. I enjoyed it in theory, but I don't know, the dialogue, like I just felt like Isayama was once again taking his hammer and hitting us on the head with something that I don't know that I think he might have hit too hard. What do you guys think?
How can I say this without sounding really, really pretentious? Sometimes you have to be unsubtle, otherwise people won't get it. Like how many fandom arguments? I mean, they all are in fact mass murderers, but how many fandom arguments are there about like who is a slightly worse mass murderer than everyone else? Eren, that's the answer. But anyway. Yeah, it is tacky to have the characters talking in theme, especially like when they're on an airplane that's gonna fall apart every second. It's a weird time to be like, hey guys, I'm suddenly getting really philosophical. Do you think we're all the murderers here? It's tacky. But on the other hand, like the theme is good. I actually really like the theme that they brought up, like as didactic as it is. I love the way they brought it up this chapter. I think it was more natural when they were all trying to beg Eren to come home than when they were like, you didn't have to just say the theme, you kind of just got it. I mean, they kind of did anyway, but it was more natural sounding at least, because they were like, we can share the guilt in all of this, blah blah blah. But I love the idea. I want to talk about that later at some point. We'll probably come back to it, but I love the idea of everyone sharing the blame, because it's a cool philosophical idea that I had notes on, but I will get back to that later. This is my foreshadowing. Okay, you can go now, Luna.
Oh, okay. Ramble, rant. You go. I think it was like also a way for them to say like, hey, we're not that pissed off at you anymore. We kind of get it now, but they also really don't, because they I mean, they were like kids. Well, Reiner was a kid and they didn't know what was waiting for them at Paradis, and Reiner really believed that he was gonna keep the rest of the world safe from exactly what is happening now if he would take the founder. He wasn't exactly wrong, but yeah, of course, the people they killed during their attack, that was not something they could bear. And is it exactly the same as the 104 fighting their former comrades to save the rest of the world? I don't know about that, but I'm guessing what they're saying is, we've all killed people we didn't want to kill, and those sins are weighing heavy on our soul, so we can sympathize a little.
Would that not have been the perfect time to bring up Bertold? Like,
well, Connie did. Reiner, I don't know. He'll never do it. But
I think Reiner's in like, oh, can I bring up ships, or is that taboo? I think Reiner's kind of just in gay denial. He's just still not over it 4 years later, and Reiner just doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
When did Connie bring up Bert? I'm looking. He brought up killing Samuel and Daz.
Yeah, and
slicing up their faces.
For you, Bertold and Annie, it must have been awful for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Seems like it would have been the time to say, oh, you know what? We feel really bad for like eating your friend, or smiling as your friend was being eaten by our friend. Like, I just think it might have been a little.
Remember the ritual cannibalism that we did in front of everybody, and like made him scream and beg for his life, and just kind of ignored it? Yeah, sorry about that, man.
We got the Marco moment where Reiner, like, ad nauseum explained in graphic detail what he did to Marco, to Jean. I just thought, okay, this is going to be the time now that Reiner's going to learn what happened to Bertold. And it didn't, it's like, okay, never mind. Not happening. Never happening.
Because Marco is just such a more important character.
Yeah, Marco, who hasn't been back since chapter 12. I wonder if this is almost like a meme. Like, is Isayama doing this on purpose, or is it like his own little haha meme that he just never mentions like anything about Bert? I don't know.
It's interesting,
isn't it?
Yeah, I don't get it. Why Reiner has never mentioned his name? It's
or Connie. Connie was right there staring, watching, listening as Bertold is screaming.
Well, I mean, Armin is on that plane too. He's not like, yo, sorry I had to eat your friend.
Well, in fairness, he was a mindless Titan at the point and unconscious prior to it. So Armin is like the least culpable here, I think. But like,
Armin would not have told them to make the decision to revive his life. He would have been like, let me stay dead, guys. I'm done with this.
Exactly.
Let Eren be live. I don't want to, I'm out. So I think Armin is the least culpable.
Anyway, I did think like Armin did have like his own Bert moments this chapter, right? He really reminds me of Bert in the Return to Shiganshina arc, with the 3DM gear, and also, the shirt, and then the shoulder pat he gave on Yankopon.
I saw that too. It felt very Bert-like.
Yeah. So I feel like Bert's ghost is lingering around, but, he's never mentioned. He's just like, they're summoning him with a Ouija board, but they can never mention his name or something. It's weird.
You guys just miss Bert so much, you're projecting him onto Armin.
Apparently. I just keep wondering, are we ever going to get it? Like, we've got that when Armin woke up and had the vision of the Titan saying it hurts, and then Eren asked, I think in 108, whether or not Armin had Bert's memories. And it's like, there's all these opportunities for Bert to come up and they just never happen. So I feel really bad. Like, I'm a fan of I was a huge fan of Bertold. I feel really bad for the Warrior stans because this, like, especially those that loved Bert, like, this just must be excruciating month after month.
I mean, it's just
waiting
weird
for
because
their boy.
like, they had such a good like Reiner and Bertold's relationship. Like they were like two peas in a pod, and now it's like not even once.
Now it's just all Eren and Reiner. Once you get the new boy, you just forget about the old one.
Apparently. Well, I did enjoy the whole, we are the same. Like I love Reiner, and I'm always grateful that Reiner has these moments where he realizes he's not as bad as he thinks he is. And having Jean and Connie, oh, we get it, dude. We get it. You're okay. You're valid. Like I'm grateful for that. I am grateful for that. But it just was so awkwardly done that it's hard. But I think Linkspooky, I think you're right. Like sometimes things have to be spelled out in like excruciatingly painful detail so that the message is sent.
I'm not even saying the readers are dumb. I'm just saying, like, I think the most important part of a story is communication. And so the best told story is one that the most people can understand the bestest.
The bestest.
My grammar just broke. Brain broke, grammar gone. But are we going to talk about the Reiner and Eren thing now?
We're getting to it right now. All right. This is the big question. Is Reiner correct that Eren wants to be stopped? And Link, I know you wrote like a giant meta about this on Tumblr that got like 2,000 reactions. So why don't you lead us off here?
Okay, let me check my notes. The main response I've gotten to my very simplified reading, which is it's very funny calling that a simplified reading because it's so fucking long, but a lot of people have countered my opinion with like Reiner's projecting on Eren. Because, like, obviously, Reiner is the first person to go, somebody please stop me. Somebody take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. I can't take this anymore. That's a very Reiner thing to be. Whereas Eren is like, I will take the wheel and I will drive us off of a cliff and I will scream about freedom the entire time and I will insist that I am making a good decision because it's the decision I am making. It's very, very different approach to reasoning the boys have. But so I think I'm going to, because this scene references Eren and Reiner in the basement, and that scene's pretty famous because like Eren at first comes off like he's like smarter than the whole like war thing because like, he's like, oh, I can understand now that these are all just people, and Reiner, I used to hate you so much, but you were just doing what you thought was right. And then after all that, like, very close and understanding, he's just like, anyway, time to kill some mofos, and he goes Attack Titan. Which is a very Eren thing to do. But what so when Reiner and Eren are projecting onto each other, it's interesting because they project different things onto each other. What Eren said in the basement is what Eren often says about himself. He says, Reiner was probably born like this, that he's someone just like him who never gives up and who always moves forward and who always throws himself into conflict. He says that Reiner probably didn't have much of a choice and he's just probably been like this ever since the way he born. So Eren sees Reiner like the ideal way he sees himself, which is, Attack Titan, run forward and punch conflict guy. Whereas Reiner sees Eren like the pathetic way he sees himself, which is, Eren probably does not want to be doing what he's doing right now. You guys ever seen that one John Mulaney joke that's like, I also don't want to be doing what I'm doing, where he's talking about, oh my gosh, sorry.
We'll link to it in the comments.
There's this John Mulaney sketch where he's like, when he's driving a car and he's like, I know, and he's saying he's a terrible driver. And it's like, I also would not like to be doing what I'm doing. But that's what Reiner is. He's like, Reiner is very like, Reiner tends to act helpless, where Eren tends to act like he's always in control. Like you said, there's even an inversion in the way they see themselves. Because like Momtaku, like you said, Reiner's always going on like, oh, I'm the worst person in the whole world. Oh, it's so hard. And Eren is like convinced he's doing this for his friends, and he's going on and on about how this is for freedom, how this is for his friends, how he loves his friends. But then you flip it around. If you flip Reiner around, you see he's actually a pretty, loyal guy. who wants to kill himself but doesn't because he still wants to protect Connie and Falco and he still has things he's fighting for. Or if you flip Eren around, you get him going to the child and crying and be like, I just didn't like all the people in the world and I wanted to make them go away. So it's really interesting because so Reiner is probably right and wrong about Eren because Reiner's obviously projecting because Reiner sees his own wish to die in Eren the same way Eren sees his own wish to always go forward and run into conflict with Reiner. But at the same time, like, he's not wrong either, probably, because like the flip side, if it's not that one is more true than the other. Like, Reiner is a terrible person, but he's also kind of like, you know, a decent guy who wanted to be a good person and who wanted to do well for like his loved ones and protect them. Neither of those facts negate who they are as a person. So Eren's love for his friends and also his like intense, neither of Eren's motive that seemingly contradict themselves negate themselves either. So it can probably be both at once. It can be that Eren wants to die gloriously to protect his friends, and it can also be that Eren is like Reiner and he just kind of wants to die and wants somebody else to stop him. It can be both.
I think I kind of agree with Link on the first part where, you know, people tend to see others in the same light as they think. So, you know, Reiner would think like Eren thoughts would be similar to his. And Eren probably was thinking about Reiner in the basement. Like, oh yeah, I get you now. Because this is what I'm doing and I can relate to that. But that doesn't mean that they're thinking the same things or that their motivations are the same things. And I feel like, so I think he's a little bit off, but I don't know for sure if he wants to be stopped, because Eren says like, told him like, I'll always keep going forward, right? No matter what. So I think the rumbling, we don't see him looking down on the damage he's causing, right? Like, he's just enjoying the freedom part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows what he's gonna do, that people will die and children who don't deserve this will die. And we saw him cry for Ramsey. So I know for sure, like, the guilt would probably prove to be too much for him. I think he does care. Does that mean he wants to be killed after he is done with the world being a threat? That is the thing that I'm not quite sure of. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, what is there left for Eren? Who would he have left?
Yeah, if Eren defines himself by war and conflict, and let's say in the, you know, magical reality where Eren's plan somehow works and people don't start killing each other the second the rumbling end. Let's say they build an Eldian paradise. Eren would have nothing to do because he has no use in a world without conflict, because that's how Eren is. He's just war. War never changes. Eren never changes. Okay.
You can take a kid out of the war, but you can't take the war out of the kid.
I just think, okay, so I really enjoyed your post, Link, and I enjoyed Old Summer Dreams reblog and their comment. Their reblog was something to the effect that Eren wanting to die was more in the sense of like a kamikaze, where he was willing to die for his cause, but that perhaps Reiner was projecting the wanting to die from guilt. So I see it. But at the same time, I don't know why Reiner would be saying that if we weren't supposed to believe it. Like, it feels like at this point in the story, Reiner narratively saying that serves no purpose except to state a fact that Eren is overwhelmed with guilt. And it kind of reminded me of when Eren threatened to Historia to wipe her memories. Like, I think Eren was projecting, well, if you can't deal with it, I'll wipe your memories. Eren knows how horrendous this is. He knows people may not be able to survive it, the guilt. You know, maybe that was his own little projection. So I don't speak Eren. Like, I fail every single time I try to speak Eren. It's not a language I understand, but I don't, and you guys think I'm different. If I'm wrong here, let me know. I don't see why Reiner would say that if we're not supposed to accept it either as a possibility or a fact. Because if Reiner is wrong here, then that's got to be cleared up later. And I don't know what purpose that would serve. Luna, what do you think?
So I keep thinking back about like the end of the attack on Liberio, where Mikasa takes Eren away to the blimp, and the translation there was still a bit iffy. But doesn't Eren say like, Reiner, you can't kill me just yet?
Yeah, I think either he says, Reiner, you can't kill me just yet, or Reiner said, or Eren said, I can't kill Reiner just yet.
So it's one of those two. And I think that the official Japanese was like, could be taken both ways. And, you know, the context wasn't clear enough in this case. But like, what if it's the first one? What if Eren knew that it's going to be Reiner who's going to kill him? And maybe he said, you know, you're just like me, because Reiner would understand the burden that he is carrying and why he's doing what he's doing. Because
So do you think it's a narrative fact, Luna?
I think Eren must have foreseen something with Reiner, if just based on that line at the end of the Liberio attack. So I wouldn't be surprised if Reiner did end up killing Eren, but I don't know if Reiner would end up taking over the founding Titan, or if that's truly what Eren wants.
Oh, time travel, time travel. Time travel, you rear your ugly head. Ugh.
I mean, there could still be like a whole alternate universe, you know, like community style, like the roll of a dice, and this is the everything is on fire alternate universe, and somewhere there'll be like a happy high school universe where Reiner is a jock and Eren is
Eren's just the loser.
Yeah, the loser who goes full Columbine.
Seriously.
Those fake previews are so hilarious. They keep getting better with time.
The one where he just starts crying because he wasn't in the zombie apocalypse. you know, say what you will about Isayama, he seems very aware about Eren's bullshit.
I mean, he wrote him, so I hope so.
Yeah, but sometimes authors like buy the main character's bullshit. Like that's what happened with Tokyo Ghoul. Sometimes authors fall in love with their main characters and they just want to be soft on them. And Isayama is like, no, Eren's just kind of
no. Yeah.
No, is it when Isayama loves a character, it's like bad. Like I think that's how you would probably be as an author, Link. Like you would just you would love poking voodoo doll sticks into them and watching them squirm.
It's my only joy in life. Please don't take it away from me.
All yours. Luna, adding on to something that you've said, like at the end of that, Reiner says, if it was me, I'd want someone to take the power or kill him, right? And then there's like this meaningful focus on Mikasa. And I was kind of thinking the same thing as you. Like, are the two of them going to be the ones that take him out? I don't know. Link, what did that scene say to you?
Oh, like 2,000% that Mikasa is going to be the one to kill Eren. I've been thinking that for a while now, actually. The fact that you brought up that Reiner might be involved, I've been denying the possibility that Reiner would be involved because I really don't want Reiner to kill Eren because Reiner's a loser and he shouldn't get to do anything fun. He's just there to take a nap and be an old man. But I love Reiner. I'm sorry. I love him a lot. I love him as much as you do, Mom Taku. No, he's my favorite character.
We have misled you, Link. We have misled you. Luna is like,
I'm the Reiner fag. Come on.
Oh, okay.
I am the Erwin stan, and I do love Reiner, but yes, Luna. Like when you said the words like Reiner shouldn't have any play in this, I was like in my brain, like holding Luna back from attack.
I'm sorry. We can totally debate that, though. I totally want to hear your take. I was gonna let Luna go first, actually, because I want to see why she thinks Reiner's gonna do it.
Oh, well, yeah, basically only for the reason that I just explained. And, you know, I'm still kind of, might just be, you know, wishful thinking, but I still hope he will be Helos. Like he will put an end to all of this. And I might be the only one who thinks that the focus on Mikasa wasn't to imply that she's going to kill him. I think it was just like the thought of Eren wanting to die is just something she can't process.
Oh, yeah.
Now, see, I saw it as because I said this last podcast was that Mikasa would kill him if she thought that he wanted to die or that she thought it would benefit, like for his sake, like a mercy killing type thing. So that's what I saw there. So that's totally different from what you saw.
I still don't agree with that because if there's no other way to stop him than to kill him, I think she would like assist to a certain degree, but I don't think she would deal the finishing blow. And I think here it's like, wait, what? He doesn't even want to live? How? Because his whole spiel has been, tatake, fight, and she is also always, like the world is cruel but beautiful, and she always picked herself up by her bootstraps, and she always kept going too when things got rough. So for her to realize that Eren might not enjoy living might be, a bit mind-blowing, a bit shocking.
He's just not having a fun time.
No, he's probably depressed. Which, he kind of deserves, but...
So basically the entire thing I've been a big proponent of that Mikasa wants to kill him. Or she doesn't want to kill him, very obviously. Manga would have ended way sooner if Mikasa wanted to kill him. But, I'm a big proponent. So, like, remember how I said earlier how Levi shouldn't get to kill Zeke just because he keeps saying that he wants to kill him, and it's more fun to deny him the thing he wants? Usually when you have a character who has, like, such a clear stated goal, especially someone like Mikasa, who usually, like, between Eren, Armin, and Mikasa, Eren and Armin kind of, like, try to... They both kind of, like... waver back and forth on their goals a lot, whereas Mikasa kind of just goes straight for what she wants usually, which is, the irony, because she never gets what she wants, because Eren wants a million things that aren't Mikasa, and he kind of wants Mikasa back. Okay, no, I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, Mikasa has such a clearly stated goal, it almost seems weird to give her the ending she wants, even if she's, like, it feels like she has to let go of the thing she can't let go of, which is Eren. And, like, there's the difference between, I don't know, letting go and, like, her deciding to be the one to cut the bond between them, because that's, like, her own choice at that point, besides, like, we have no choice but to kill Eren. Or as Mikasa flipping on the one thing she's always said, which is the one thing she would never do, which is kill Eren. But, like, her flipping is, like, her... getting past, it's like the final, we talked about how, like, characters in Attack on Titan, I've heard a couple of people's frustrations, at least, how characters in Attack on Titan seem to have moved past beyond something, but then they kind of just helicopter back eventually. Mm-hmm. Like, Armin's still indecisive, Jean's still like, I just want to be a normal guy.
That was your meta about how everybody regressed.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, that was me.
I kind of disagreed with part of that, but, like, I couldn't
it's totally fine.
I couldn't fault your logic. Like, even when you got to Historia, if we debated it, I don't know that I could fight you and win, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, I see it a little. You're
fine to think I'm wrong. I don't care.
I just remembered that we'll link to some of these, I think, if other people would like to read them.
But so it's kind of like the reversal of what happened in Trust, where Eren died and Mikasa was like, oh, I can live without Eren. And then Mikasa immediately got Eren back, and she just went straight back to the clinging to Eren thing, or except this time she clung harder. So this is the reverse of that. Like, how do you break the cycle? And it might just be it's regressed to that point where literally the only way to break the cycle for her is to kill Eren, to give something up so she can grow as an independent person, to lose the person she's been clinging to all this time.
I still think that would be exceptionally cruel, even for this story. I hope she doesn't have to kill Eren. But I do think that I understand people are seeing it that way.
Yeah. Well, I kind of agree with Link. Like, she has to let go of her wish, which is to bring Eren back home alive. But like I said last podcast, I do think she will bring him back, but just like his remains, to Shikashina, which may sound a bit morbid, but like
I don't know anyone at this point to think that Eren's going to come out of this alive. Eren's not coming out of this story alive.
I like Eren. Eren is my favorite ship ever. And I'm still like, yeah, Mikasa's gonna kill him.
I hope she doesn't kill him, but I do think she's going to have to, that whole point about, like you were saying, where she said, if I die, I can't remember you anymore. I choose to think of that kind of benevolently, that she's going to remember that and, remember Eren in a positive sense. I hope that that's not like everyone's going to get their mind wiped except her and Levi,
gosh.
and she's going to be stuck remembering. I hope Isayama is not cruel like that, but I know she's going to have to deal with a life without Eren. I don't want it to end like this. They've got to have that moment of honest communication and not Eren like just cutting them off. They've got to have some sort of reconciliation first.
I understand. Actually, can I use your Levi standing against you? Because I actually have a parallel.
Sure.
You know how in the end Erwin had to let go of his dream and he asked Levi to tell him to die? That's kind of where I got the idea from, where like both Levi and Mikasa kind of have to give up on the person that they've always been loyal to, and at the same time, like, not only give up on them but also tell them to die in a fashion.
Yeah.
Even though it's the thing they've always dreamed about. Yep.
I have no issue with that comparison at all, because I think, again, Levi let Erwin go out of regard for Erwin, really. It was an emotional decision based on his feelings for him. And if Mikasa's in that same situation, then absolutely she'll do the same thing.
Can we just agree that this is all Levi's fault? Like, if Erwin had gotten the serum, do you think we would be here right now?
Of course not.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, guys! I'm so glad you agree with me, because my friend Hamlet, we disagree so hard on Serum Bowl. Oh my gosh, because I'm a gigantic Levi stan, and I don't hate Armin. Like, I like Armin a lot, but like when it comes to Armin, I'm like that one meme from Arrested Development where I'm like, I love all my children equally. I don't really care for Armin. So when it looked like they're gonna pick Erwin, I was like, yes, and then Armin, and I was like, okay, Armin, I guess my stepson.
Yeah, Hamlet's another meta writer that I really like, and I actually did think about, like, if she had filled out a guest application, it would have been fun to have the two of you together. But like during Serum Bowl, I had to mute people. Like, I just couldn't handle. I love Armin. I absolutely love Armin. But like in a comparison of who was better, back in August 2016, my paper-thin, hold on reality was dependent on people agreeing with me that Erwin was best. So like any of these other meta writers that were just like, oh, well, actually Armin had a dream. And I was just like, oh. So.
No, it's totally fine. I wanted Erwin to come out too. I mean, I'm totally fine with Armin coming out of it alive, but
just admit now that Erwin was the better choice. Somebody please, everybody please admit now.
Isn't that the theme of the manga? Isn't that what everybody's saying? Erwin should have lived. If Erwin were here right now, this would not be happening.
You would think, but we asked this on the poll not too long ago, and it was like 60-40 still that thought that Armin was the better choice. And
okay.
Maybe this is one of those things that Isayama just needs to spell out again. Not that he hasn't said it 30 times already that Erwin was needed, but maybe just one more time, in the plainest language. Like, we are the same. If Erwin had lived, he would not have supported the rumbling, and this would never have happened. The end.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, Erwin's gone. We don't know for sure, what other choices he would have made that would have led to catastrophe with Eren. So who knows? Who knows?
I do tend to agree that nobody would have stopped Eren. Eren was going to do what Eren wanted to do. But again, I don't speak Eren, so I should probably not talk about it.
Oh, no, actually, I agree with you. That's actually what I wrote down in my notes, where when we get to the top part where Armin was saying, like, we're all to blame, I actually wrote down in my note, personally, I don't think anything would have stopped Eren. Eren was just so determined to self-destruct. However, Armin didn't help, period. Period.
Let's go ahead and move into that. So the talk new Jutsu, the failed one, finally happened, and things were said, and you just talked about the Armin one. Did you think anybody said anything helpful there? Or was it all just like, nope, scratch him off?
Man, it's hard to, like, I didn't think anything was going to reach to Eren, because, like, obviously emotional appeals aren't going to work on Eren right now, because everybody's like, Eren, we're still friends. And Eren is like, I hate friendship. I don't like people. I want to destroy the world. Like, I feel like if there was any, I like the idea that you can talk down somebody even when they're this far gone, but I don't think, like, oh, let's appeal to, I think it's like, you gotta, like, call him out. Like, Eren, you realize that you suck, right? And still, nobody's really willing to do that. Like, we get bits and pieces of it. We get Mikasa's realization that maybe she was seeing the wrong side of Eren all along, and Eren always had this in him. And we get, like, Armin, like, you know, panicking when he realizes the real side of Eren. But yeah, I think everybody is kind of so in love with the idea of Eren, their friend, they don't really see what he's doing, and because of that, they can't really confront him.
So Armin's, I like what you said, Armin's, this is our fault too. Like, I like the message that each of them said. Jean is like, don't do this for us. We have a better plan. Connie went with the whole, oh, you must be hurting too. I misjudged you. Like, they're all being like kid gloves with him. Even Levi, I will say this, Levi's, I'll let you off with an ass kicking, kind of surprised me, but I think that it reinforces the idea that Levi actually really did like Eren. Like, he likes him too. So it's like they all tried these different things, and Eren was just like, no, didn't even, just cut him down. But my favorite of those was Mikasa's, let us share your burden. And I just thought that statement, like, that might be one of my favorite Mikasa quotes ever, and I love her.
Oh, I love it. Everybody gets surprised when I say Mikasa's my absolute favorite character, but like every time she talks, she barely talks, but every time she talks, she just says the most beautiful shit.
Luna, what you seem like you're about to disagree.
Well, I'm just surprised you saying this, because I remember when we were reading the chapter together, you were like, oh my God. You were so mad. You were disagreeing so hard with them.
About Mikasa?
No, about all of them. Like, being.
I was disagreeing with trying to talk him down in this way.
Well, because like they shouldn't feel sorry to the extent that's this is not their fault. That's what you were saying, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that bothers me. That this is all of our fault. We're all to blame here. Like, that kind of was like, come on, guys. You guys have been nothing but nice to this creature. Yeah, I'm kind of wanting what Link was just saying, like, go ahead and blast him. Let's not be nice anymore. Let's just tell him, where to get off, because this is not acceptable. So everyone coddling Eren at this point really, really was like, what you do, you guys. But if it was me up there in Pazrames, it would not be, I will let you off with an ass kicking. But I thought Mikasa's let us share your burden, though, is one of the most, like, that's love, right? Love is being willing to shoulder someone else's burdens. It's not wanting to add to their pile. It's wanting to take a little bit of theirs. And Mikasa's saying that, I want to share your burden. I just thought, like, okay, that's true love right there. Like, that's very poignant. So I appreciate it. I just wish they weren't all coddling him still. But the coddling has happened. And now hopefully we can move on from, hopefully the talk new Jutsu is done. We can move on. Go ahead, Link.
Oh, so I actually took a lot of notes for this rant. I'm sorry. I might go on for a little bit, but to be fair, I'm really smart, and you guys should think that what I'm saying is intelligent. Okay, so like, I've been pointing this out for a while. You know how I say that everybody's regressing? I've been noticing that for a while. Like, everybody's enabling of Eren's behavior, and everyone's indecisiveness is like a direct contrast to Eren deciding everything for himself and deciding to go off on his own. Like, these are intentional parallels in the story. It's really limp that Armin says this is all our fault, because, like, no, Eren just went off on his own and did all this shit. But at the same time, like, thematically and character-wise, we're setting up these parallels. Like, the more decisive Eren gets, the more indecisive Armin gets. And, you know, we all talk about, if Erwin were here, this wouldn't happen. And, like, yeah, that's kind of true. Like, Hanji even said last chapter, all I showed Eren was my own indecisiveness. Isayama is actually expressing, like, a philosophical point here. I mean, it reminds me of a philosophical point. Who knows if it's actually philosophical? I might just be being pretentious. But, so there's this, have you guys ever heard of Albert Camus? I might be saying that wrong.
Yes.
I haven't, so...
Okay, Albert Camus is I think he's French. He might not be French. I'm going to sound like an idiot right now after I said I was smart. But Albert Camus is a philosopher. He wrote 3 main novellas. The first one is The Stranger. Then he wrote, I don't know in order, but he wrote another novella called The Plague, which is very relevant to nowadays. And then he wrote a novella called The Fall. And The Stranger is about a guy who shot a man in Reno and watched him die. But The Fall is about, thematically, well, here's what happens in The Fall. This is on topic, I promise. You're hanging out in France, and a French guy takes you out of a bar and walks you out on, I don't know, along the riverside, as French people do, which I've never been to France. I assume that's just what French people are like. And then he tells you his whole life story, because once again, I just assume that's what French people are like. And
yes, they are the chattiest. Mm-hmm.
The Fall is thematically, it's about how he was once a lawyer, and it's about guilt and punishment. And he talks about how once he, on the same riverbank he's walking you down now, once he saw a woman commit suicide, and rather than go try to stop her, he just kind of turned away and, like, looked away and tried to forget about it. And so it's about, the theme of The Fall is everyone is at fault for everything, or it's trying to make that philosophical point. Everyone is at fault for everything. And it's pretty famous because it was written around the time of World War II. And the philosophical point it's trying to make is, like, everyone contributed to World War II, even if they were just, like, a normal person, because everyone participates in society. So basically what I'm trying to say is we live in a society. No, what I'm trying to say is everyone's actions led to this current situation, whether they were trying to or not. I mean, Eren obviously created it, and like I said several times, I don't think anybody could have stopped Eren from doing what he did. Even if Mikasa had said she loved Eren at that time, even if Armin hadn't been so indecisive and had stepped up as leader, I think Eren still would have tried to go off on his own.
Even if Hanji had a good plan?
Yeah, even if Hanji had a good plan. However, at the same time, everybody contributes to this with their own passivity, which lets Eren just kind of run around and do whatever he wants. So I think that's what Armin's saying, which is like, we all helped create the situation, so it's our responsibility to fix it.
Interesting. Oh, that reminds me of the fandom where they say that this was inevitable. What Eren is doing is inevitable. And I've always kind of rejected that. Like, no, it's not, genocide is never inevitable, or a successful one is never inevitable. People thinking it's inevitable is inevitable. Yeah. The madman with the finger on the trigger happens. I don't know. Luna, do you have any thoughts?
I think of all the people speaking, I think I like John's the best. Like, if you're doing this for us, please stop, because there's no need. Because that's true. And then, Eren shut that all down, like, no, I'm not doing this for you. And John's like, oh, fuck.
Do you think Eren is being sincere? Like, is this actually Eren? Or maybe that's too big for me to ask of you at this moment.
I do think it was Eren speaking, and I do think... That's a tough one. Like I said, this chapter flipped a lot of things upside down for me, and this is the one where I'm like, well, he did sound pretty convincing here, and he's gonna keep moving forward, so... he's like, I can't take any chances with Paradis.
What flipped for you with this chapter? I'm super curious about that because I feel like I talk to you for 3 hours a month about every chapter. What in particular?
Um,
Is it the ending you think now you see differently, or just kind of
the
the
ending,
flavor?
but also Eren's motivations and, Reiner's role and all of it. Like, at first I was pretty sure where this was heading, and now I'm like, I'm not so sure. Oh, yes, and Ymir, like, we thought when we saw Ymir appear before Ramsey, like, maybe she would be a bit iffed at Eren, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you killing kids? And then she was here holding 10-year-old Eren's hand, and I was like, that doesn't look like someone who
No.
is on opposing sides of Eren, you know?
Did you notice the whole timing of when she showed up? Like she wasn't there at first, and then suddenly the 104th is like knocked back several hundred yards, and then suddenly Ymir's there like a boss. Like, what is up? I wish I've screamed with Saflora. Saflora is one of our guests who's always like, she's an Eren. What do we call her? An Eren optimist? Yes. Saflora is an Eren optimist who thinks that Eren. You call her an Eren apologist. She is of the mind that or she was of the mind that, Eren still has a noble intention for his friends. And so, of course, Ymir showing up when she did at that point, looking every bit the terrifying twin of Rage Baby. Like I couldn't wait to chat with Saflora about it because I knew it was going to be, look at Ymir, what's up with Ymir? And like, neither of us know what's up with Ymir, but it gets weirder and weirder and weirder.
Oh, actually, though, I was going to mention that. Did you notice how when Mikasa runs up to Eren, she can see his eyes for a second? And then,
well, I think that's a memory. I'm pretty sure that's a memory.
And I guess it might be a memory. It still draws attention to the fact that Mikasa noticed that Eren's eyes are shadowed out exactly like Ymir's.
It's weird.
Well, the thing is, the panels are a bit confusing to me because they're all running to Eren at first, right? And Levi and Peek and Reiner stay behind. And all of a sudden, there's this big flash. And then you see, I think on the side of Reiner and Peek and Levi, like they stay behind. All of a sudden, behind them, there's two shadows appearing. So what if the Eren they saw was the real kid Eren on the other side, and the Eren they saw with child Ymir is like an Eren that has lost his free will? And I think Ymir falls under that as well because they both have their eyes shaded out. So there's like this, like I said in previous podcasts, I think there is like maybe a bigger power here at play that we don't know yet.
You mean a big boss beyond Ymir and Eren?
Yes.
I have a theory about that if you guys want to hear it, but I was going to wait a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, now would be a good time. Yeah.
Now would be a good time. Okay. The one thing is, I went up and looked it up. So when Ymir gets the power of the Titans, she falls into a huge tree, right? And that's like, everybody's like, oh, that's the world tree from Norse mythology, right? And like every time we see the past, it's like roots, and it's like roots that are connecting either alternate dimensions or like alternate timelines or whatever. I just, the time travel part kind of rubs me. But anyway, so this actually, the symbolism, the world tree symbolism and the tree of life thing, those are all Jungian symbols. So like the fact that there is like a subconscious thing that connects every single person, and that it connects their thoughts and their feelings, and like you can draw power from this, that's actually that's a Jungian idea. That's called the collective unconscious, and it's symbolized with trees and roots and like the idea of the world tree, because you got the ground, and then you got the roots under the ground, and the roots branch out, and all the tiny roots branch out, and the deeper you go, the more complex, and it connects to everybody, right? So Jungian collective unconscious is a theory he used to come up with why different myths around the world reoccur over and over again. Like why do we, have you guys ever heard of Joseph Campbell's The Hero?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going somewhere. I promise. So there's this archetype idea of the hero, and there's this idea. So his idea is that besides like our own subconscious, which is the shadow of the conscious mind, there's also a collective subconscious, which is just that everybody deep down has this unconscious mind, and because everybody kind of thinks the same, there's a connection between all the unconscious minds. So there's the past, I think, has always been meant to represent the collective subconscious. That's why we have the 8 Titans, because Jung has archetypes, which are like ideas that show up in every myth, and you have the Titans of myth, and like even the idea of Ymir herself, which is like a selfless, pure, innocent maiden who always selflessly sacrifices herself. That's like a fairy tale archetype. So you have this like legend and lore and archetypes are a part of the story. And my point is, in a story like Attack on Titan that is about like cycles and about like thousands of years worth of oppression, there's this idea of not only the collective subconscious, but also the collective shadow of society. Have you guys ever seen Watchmen?
No. Sorry.
In Watchmen, there's this speech Rorschach gives, which I'm just gonna read because it makes my point. He goes, "Dog carcasses in the alley this morning, tired, something, something, something. The streets are extended gutters, and the gutters are full of blood. When the drains finally scrub over, all the vermin will drown. The accumulated filth and all of their sex and murder will form about their waists, and all the whores and politicians will look up and shout, 'Save us.'" This is unbelievably pretentious, but the point he's trying to make is that when you have a society that represses all this oppression and all this stuff, and because you have the Jungian idea of the collective unconscious, if everybody in the Eldian race is facing oppression, and if everybody is repressing themselves, all of that negative juju just sort of builds up over time. Have you guys ever seen Persona 3?
No, we're obviously like fake nerd fans.
We are the uncultured, the Philistines of this fandom.
I get what you're saying. Like that works for me. If you consider Ymir as kind of like the center of that tree, and she's getting all that negative energy that she's building up to be this little rage machine. Yeah.
2,000 years of her repressing herself, and all that repression builds up over time. So Ymir and Eren are choosing to do this, because Eren saw a big red button that said destroy the world, and Eren's like, fuck yeah, push the big red button. He obviously made the choice to do this. But at the same time, Eren and Ymir are also embodying, in a way, this shadow of society, all this collective filth and gutter that's built up over time, and they're venting it all at once, and it's built up so far. This is why people say it's inevitable. I mean, it's not inevitable, but what they're talking about is like, it feels like it's inevitable, because like all of this stuff has built up to such a breaking point, because we keep cycling around. It's built up to such a breaking point that like, fuck it, let's just destroy everything seems like a reasonable option, because it might break the cycle finally.
I think our previous guest, Leslie, would agree with you on that. Like, I think that's his point. It's just like, you know what? Just burn it all. It's not worth saving.
And I don't agree with that personally, but I think that's why Ymir shows up. And I think that's what Ymir and Eren are embodying, which is this Jungian response.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a psychological id. It's like when you're stuck in traffic and you're like, I wish all these cars would go away. That's what it is, but there's no brakes on that. They're just doing it.
I kind of was of the feeling that Ymir was going to soften a little bit, and I still do think Ymir's going to come around. But I think it's going to take the intervention of somebody like Historia to do it. So that's my new Historia comes back into the story theory. Like she gets Pad's magicked into Pads and is able to communicate to Ymir, not Eren. But I have been wrong so many times now that I almost hate saying these things aloud, because Luna drops them down in her little notebook. That way,
actually, this is one that I like.
Okay, good.
This is a theory I like. I would like for her to come back like in the story like that, because who would relate to her most? Because like Historia was always shunned from like childbirth, rejected by everyone, and I feel like the same has basically happened to Ymir. So
I think I want to shout out Hamliet one more time since you guys are friends, but Hamliet wrote something that just really stuck with me about OG Ymir at the time, I would say when Eren first met her, which kind of really stuck with me. It was basically like, people viewing Eren freeing her as like an ubu moment. Like, oh, look at Eren giving her freedom. Hamlet's post was like, wait a minute, not so fast. Do you really want this woman to be like, this woman has been like abused, oppressed, tortured, her children were forced to, she has had like not a moment of goodness, happiness, or love in her entire existence. Do we really want this woman free? Maybe a little therapy first. And I don't think that's how Hamlet worded it. But like when I read that, it was like, I'm nodding so fast that, I hurt the back of my neck.
2,000 years of trauma aren't going to go away with one hug and one cry. I think Eren might sort of I don't think Eren's possessed, because I think Eren wanted this to happen. Like, he went so far to get this to happen. So I don't think he's totally possessed, but I do think he, like, got more than he bargained for when he let Ymir out. Because, like, Ymir's just this big 2,000 years of resentment and grief. And Eren probably has not as much control as Ymir does in this moment, because Ymir is just pure emotion.
Imagine Eren being the calm one in a situation, in a relationship.
Eren finally met his match.
The real OTP, okay.
I don't know if you saw the meme, Luna, but like after Eren had his hugging Ymir moment, there was all of this really cute like father-daughter fan art that came out, oh, happy family. And the latest one I saw was like a comparison of like what the fandom envisioned, and it was like this really super happy, Eren taking care of Ymir, like he takes care of people. And what they got, and of course it's the two psycho twins from The Shining. And it's like, okay. I definitely am. This feels like psycho twins from The Shining. This is not, a healthy relationship. So as much as I would love Ymir to have somebody hug her and tell her
it's gonna be
okay,
all right,
probably not the best person to do it.
So this kind of still feels like there's like separate entities of Eren, if that makes sense. Like you have the child him that is enjoying the freedom. Then you have like the millipede Titan where he's kind of dreading what he's doing, and then there's the weird, almost like mind controlled 10-year-old Eren in paths. And I don't know if they can all exist simultaneously, or if like one is like conscious at one point in time. Like I don't know how it works. To really make my opinion on like, are there parts of Eren being controlled? Because there's other parts where he seems like fully in control of his own actions. It's just,
I guess that's, I like I said, I don't speak Eren, but that's been the hardest part for me is the whole, who is he? And are they all the same person? Like I desperately do not want him being mind controlled, but at the same time, I desperately do, because it would explain like the inconsistency that I see.
I mean, I think Eren's just flipping out and having a mental breakdown in the Titan. That's why we see him.
I mean, that's the other, yeah. He's crazy is the other option, which I'm not liking that. I'm not liking that one either. So
no, I love it. You guys don't like him falling apart, losing his mind, and being like, "I want my friends to be free." Anyway, I'm gonna put him in a cage. No, guys, this is totally freedom because I'm gonna force you guys to kill me. That's not a forced choice.
Oh, that takes us into our next thing, like Eren's whole statement of, I will take the world's freedom, but not yours. Did you feel like that was a consistent statement with
no.
what we know of Eren? Oh, okay. All right, good.
Okay, topic solved. Let's move on. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Do any of us understand anything about what Eren said? No, great. Let's move on. No, really. Luna, what did you think?
Okay, so I do kind of like the theory that Link mentioned about like the tree, because it's kind of like connected to, like in Norse mythology, to all the 9 realms, right? So you have the human realm, Midgar, and then you have like the realm of the giants, Jotunheim. Like, what if that's where the Titans came from? Like, that's like somebody from Jotunheim or some god like ruling all of the 9 realms. Something weird like that is like
Let's give Titans to this random little girl. That seems like a good idea.
Well, she fell in it, right? She accidentally discovered it. So it was like, well, since you discovered this as the first human in this realm, let me grant you some powers or something. I don't know, but it's I never really thought about it as well, about like Ymir being so traumatized, like maybe you don't want her out, like
no. But this is not how you expose somebody who's gone through severe trauma. There's a reason why people
have the genocidal maniac come forward, like the severely traumatized,
Let's have the equally traumatized person, share their viewpoint on life.
Let's not hand her godlike powers at the moment. Just
so that is also an interesting choice, because like, where is she at mentally? Like, is her child form saying anything? Is it just like a representation of when she got the Titan powers? What's going on with Ymir? And the fact that she can't talk makes it really hard for us to, kind of gauge what she's saying, especially with her eyes like shadowed over constantly.
We asked some of this in the poll. Like one question, Ymir appears to be aligned with Eren. What do you make of this? And at this point, 55% do believe that they are both on the same page and they both want the rumbling. The next largest chunk of the pie was 20% that believe that Eren is actually a pawn in all of this. So, and then a smaller percent, 16, that Ymir is a slave to Eren, which is an interesting idea as well, that, he's now the devil holding the apple.
That was, for me, the only question I skipped on the poll.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I was like, none of those choices kind of are in line with I think, because I think, neither of them is really fully in control at this point.
Right. You think there still might be...
There's still something else going on we don't know about. That's what I think.
Do you think it's the centipede creature? Do you think it's the insect creature?
No, I think that's... it's like some sort of symbiote. Or something, or like...
It's Venom. It's Venom from Venom.
Yes, that's what I mean.
I know everything for you, Link, is like an Evangelion reference. Everything for me is a Full Metal Alchemist. So, like that little thing in the jar in Full Metal Alchemist that wanted the godlike power. Yeah. If that's what that centipede kind of creature is, and now he's finally gotten his final form.
Man, I kind of hope not, because I like Eren being the final boss. And I like the reason the world is ending, not because like there's some secret shadow thing. It's just because Eren's kind of a tool. I mean, I like him, but...
I mean, I think I hope Eren is the final boss, and I hope there is indeed like some greater power at work, but it's not necessarily like an overly involved power or somebody who like something that wants to kill everyone and everything, because that would just be lame at this point.
Yeah, I honestly think the popular subconscious thing explains it. I mean, another thing I don't really quite get yet is why Eren and Ymir are kids in the Titan paths, because didn't Ymir die as an adult?
Yeah, so my theory was that they are the same age they are when they got their Titan powers.
That's the second most popular one in the poll when we asked this.
What's the most popular one?
The most popular with 58.8, it's a sign that they've lost their free will.
Overwhelming majority.
So 48.8% believe, and this was a multi-select, so people could select several.
Okay.
So close to 50% do believe part of it is that they are no longer free. And then 41.3% have the attitude of they are just the ages in which they regain their Titan power. If that's true, even that needs explanation. Why would that be the age that they revert to? Like, why is that significant? Let's see, less popular options were their ignorance and immaturity.
Immaturity is mine. I mean, I think they like I said, I think they're embodying what you would call a psychological id, which is like, it's like the thing that makes you eat the cheesecake at the Olive Garden, even though you know it's bad for you. See, an adult would also sometimes eat the cheesecake, but a child, I mean, the reason kids cry in the supermarket...
Luna will also eat the cheesecake, by the way. I have personal experience with this.
The reason kids cry in a supermarket is, because you don't buy them Doritos, is because they don't really know that they're causing a fuss. They only understand their own wants and needs. They don't really understand that other people are around them, and they're also like, they don't understand that it's not really a big deal in the grand scheme of things, that you won't buy them a Dorito, so they'll cry for 20 minutes. Basically, like, Eren and Ymir only see their own pain in this moment. Like, Eren sees his loss of his mother and the, like, constant wars he's thrown himself into since he was a kid. And Ymir just sees, you know, the 2,000 whole years of torture or something. And they can only see those own emotions, which is why they're acting like a child, because they don't have any empathy for other people suffering right now when they're, you know, stomping on the whole world. Also, the other option is it's an Evangelion thing, and that Ymir showing up everywhere is like Rey showing up everywhere when instrumentality happens. That's my other theory. That one's less thought out.
Last month, you were the one that said that everything is an Evangelion reference, right?
Yeah, all anime past 1993 is an Evangelion reference.
So Eren ends this conversation by saying the only thing left for us is to fight. Question for both of you. Is Eren willing to kill his friends? What do you think?
My thoughts are
totally
no. Oh,
okay, Luna, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I think no, because I just don't see it happening. I think he cares too much about them. Like, we've seen it over and over again that he's, you know, his actions speak louder than his words, and he wants to keep his friends safe. So for him to say, like, okay, well, come and fight me, I think he knows it's inevitable.
Okay, but if he has to kill them, you think he'd stop the rampage if it was kill them or continue?
Oh. Well, I mean, let's say that he wants to keep Paradise safe because he wants to ensure they live long, happy lives on Paradise. I feel like it would be counterproductive to kill them, but I think he wouldn't mind, like, hurting them or, you know, but I don't see them killing them. And also the interesting part is, like, he said he didn't take their powers away, right? Even though he could.
He won't take their freedom, but will he kill them?
Yeah, but
he won't. He's going to give them the choice.
Why would he leave Reiner and Peak and Falco? Like, okay, Reiner and Falco can maybe kind of understand, but Peak and him are not friendly at all, and she kept her powers too.
Well, he obviously took none of the remaining Titan powers.
Yeah, so does it have to do with them being friends, or does it have to do with something else? Okay.
So you think there's nothing left for us to do but fight. If they try to stop him, you don't think he'll be able to kill them?
No, I don't think he will, but I do think he will. I think he will definitely rough up Armin because Armin is like a Titan, so he will heal.
Yeah. All right, Lake, what do you think?
Didn't he already kill Hanji? I mean,
sort of.
Yeah, kind of.
Is Hanji not his friend?
The friend. Did you see how he went raging against Hanji in that jail cell?
Is you guys just like, everybody is my friend, but fuck Hanji? I didn't know you guys didn't like Hanji that much. I mean, like, is Eren gonna contradict himself again? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys saying that Eren was gonna say one thing and then do another thing? Yeah. I mean, here's another thing I was gonna say with the Mikasa theory, which is like, is that the worst thing that could possibly happen? Yes, and that's how I predict Isayama twists in general.
Yeah.
Is the worst thing that could possibly happen going to happen? Sounds like it. But, I mean, that's not a lot of logic. I know, I'm just saying, like, it sounds like he's gonna do it. So I will try to back this up with reasoning. I think Eren does really love his friends. Like, I get a bad rap for saying that. See, like, I think both of these things can coexist. I think Eren can love his friends at the same time, where he can also be like, it's kind of like the relationship he has with Mikasa, where obviously Eren cares about Mikasa. He's always cared about her. They've been together for so long, and like, Eren almost seemed like he might have put the brakes on his plan to run away if he confirmed what his relationship to Mikasa was. But at the same time, he kind of resents her, and it's not that he loves her or hates her. The complexity comes from both at once. Eren loves his friends, and he wants to do these things for his friends. Eren is also Eren, so he kind of just does not get along well with people, and he doesn't really know how to connect with people or love them right, so he makes a bunch of selfish decisions. It's not one or the other. It's not one is more true than the other. It's both true at the same time, and that's why it's so confusing. And like you said, that there are like 3 different Erens right now, and he just keeps splitting apart, and it's much more likely that these are all Eren rather than one of them is the true Eren, etc., etc.
So do you think if he had to kill Armin, Connie, if they got in his way, would he use lethal force to stop them?
Oh, Connie is definitely gonna die. He doesn't have a character arc.
Poor Connie.
It's always Connie.
Are we ever going to get through without beating up on Connie?
I'm so sorry, Connie. Not really. I don't care that much.
Kanji was a casualty of war. I mean, he didn't.
I mean, if Eren has total control of the things, he probably could have stopped him. So, I mean, Hanji died already, so to me it seems like a moot question, because Hanji's already dead. But, like, will Eren... I guess what you guys are asking is besides, like, the giant stampeding titans, will Eren himself, like, in his head, use the centipede titan to smack them down, or, like, literally try to kill them? And I don't know. It kind of sounds like something he would do. If he was forced to choose, I think Eren will choose himself, because that's what he's been choosing so far.
Oof.
He'll choose to be alone again.
Yeah, we did ask this on the poll because it did seem like a topic, and 30% of the fandom doesn't think he'd be able to kill anybody, like, directly. But of the named characters, 25% think he would be able to kill Armin. 23% think he'd be able to kill Mikasa. Of course, Annie, Peak, Reiner, all of those are plus 50%. They don't think he'd hesitate before killing Reiner or Annie or Gabby.
Reiner.
I know. But it's just kind of shocking because we've all been in the fandom a while. We all know that, like, Eren's love for his friends, he's doing this for his friends, blah, blah, blah. And now we're at the point where, like, 23% think he'd be able to kill Mikasa and 25% think he'd be able to kill Armin.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of shocking, like, that we've come to this. But everything about this, is shocking. So here we are.
I wonder if we're gonna, like, go back to Trost, where, Mikasa first got her scar because the Titan lashed out and attacked her first. I wonder if we're gonna go back to that or parallel that in some way.
Yeah. So on the poll, we also have 2 questions that are right at the 50-50 mark, and maybe we'll ask these right before we go to break. If neither party steps aside, Eren says they'll collide, who do you think would win? Eren or the Alliance? Link?
I mean, I think the Alliance should win, but that also requires Armin, like, doing things and making decisions, so I'm also 50-50 on this. If Armin steps up, the Alliance could win in 10 seconds, but I don't... It doesn't seem like Armin's gonna step up until, I don't know, Falco and Annie show up on the Flying Titan to save the day.
What about you, Luna? If neither side steps down, Eren says they'll collide, who would win in that case? The Alliance or Eren?
The Alliance, it has to win.
Okay.
Wishful thinking, maybe, but yeah.
So that one's 50.3% say Eren and 49.7% say the Alliance. So slightly more people think Eren, very slightly more. Okay, so the other one that's a 50-50 split, or should I say 49-51.
Yeah.
Levi returned from past with more fingers than he started with. Is this a mistake? Luna?
I mean, as much as Isayama drawing a light bulb in a place with no electricity, as much as Eren pants reappearing out of nowhere, as much as Reiner's and Shadis' beards disappearing, like, I think it's an animation error.
Don't forget John's rocks.
I mean, he could have pocketed those rocks. Maybe he was playing with the idea of killing Flaw, but no.
So you think it's a mistake? You think it's an art?
Yeah. All
right, Link?
I think it is probably a mistake, but if I were Isayama, I'd just roll with it and be like, Ackerman healing, guys! Did I not tell you? Did I not tell you that they could do that?
I mean, I think if it was something that happened, it's like Levi would at least notice it and tell people, like, what happened to my and like his whole face wouldn't be covered in stitches and right.
He would have noticed it and stuck his whole face in the sand, is what you're telling me.
Have you seen that art?
He'd be like flying starfish on the ground, laying in the sand, making sand angels, trying to get every part of his body sandy
just like
and
an
peeled.
ostrich, just like bam, head in the sand, and then or an emu. I don't know. Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, I'm kind of like on this one. I have been wrong so many times by staring too closely at panels. My feeling is I'm not going to like it. Like it seems kind of like, okay, really? But if it happens, it happens. So, all right. Shall we take a break?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Hi guys, welcome back. And apparently we're not the only people who are coming back, because turns out Annie and Falco might be returning back to the story as well. Let's talk a little bit about the reveals that took place on that boat. What do you guys think about Falco having that wonderful dream of flying above the clouds?
Okay, see, I you know that the meme of the woman drinking the how do you say it,
Kombucha.
That was me. That was me with this. Like, and the fact that so many people hate this, I feel kind of betrayed. I feel like everybody else kind of got to that second step of the meme, making the nasty face about it, and haven't gotten to the this might be good phase yet. I definitely went through the what reaction, the oh, this is bad, to the oh, okay, cool, let's go with this. Takes another sip. So yeah, I was kind of, I'm surprised that every Discord I go into right now is people like about it, like complaining.
I'm actually with you, Mom Taku. Like, are people surprised? I mean, hasn't every Titan power just kind of come out of nowhere like this? Like, when we started out, I mean, I think you're the one who said, like, 2 years ago you would be surprised if something like the Hammer Titan was a thing, where it, like, got armor and summoned shit and had a giant hammer.
In 2017, I had said, Linkspooky, there's going to be a Titan that wears an executioner mask, is an earthbending Titan, can form weapons out of the ground, is attached by a crystal via an umbilical cord to her Titan form. Like, would you have just gone 2 thumbs up? Woohoo! No, you would have like, hello, are we surprised?
I mean, see, the thing is, this always happens in stories like this. I call it the X-Men limit. It's not actually what it's called, but I made it up. Basically, if you have some sort of supernatural element, like, say, vampires, eventually it'll get more and more complex to the point where they just fucking become X-Men at that point. Like, okay, so if at first it was this Titan, Ymir's Titan is a jaw Titan, so it has a big jaw. One Titan is really big. One Titan has armor. Eren's Titan is good at punching things. Annie's Titan looks like a girl. That was just it. But then the story went on, and we got more complexity, and now they're just X-Men. Eren can see the future. Who knows what Reiner's ass-pull ability is going to be? Falco can fly.
He transferred his brain function to his spine, okay?
Oh, I remember that! Oh, that was so... I actually... this is before I started to love Reiner, so I was super mad at that at the time. I did
I'm with you on that one, because I was also like, just die already!
and now it's 180, and I'm like, oh, thank God Reiner had that ass pull.
True. A literal asshole.
Reiner's brain function being transferred to his spine was literally, there have been several times in the manga where I just looked at it and thought, I analyzed this, you know? It was like, that was the second time in the story I looked at it and was like, I take this story seriously. What is wrong with me?
What's the first one?
Yeah, it was in the cavern when Hanji was shot in the shoulder with the harpoon and they fell to the ground 100 meters and they were bleeding out. And yeah, and next chapter, they're up smiling and waving. So that was the first time I was like, I analyzed that scene. I had expectations. So this was like the other one. Yeah.
Another thing is, I don't know, it seemed pretty clearly set up to me. I mean, his name is Falco. He is associated with birds. Like, the first thing he did in the manga was, I don't know, look at the sky and be like, oh, I want to fly. And his Titan shape looked like a bird, and everyone's like, whoa, that's weird. Your Titan looks like a bird. I mean, did they think it was just because his name is Falco? So it seemed set up to me. I mean, it's only as much of an asshole as everything else is, but it seemed set up. I thought that was going to be the attention from the start, because otherwise, what is the pack carrying Titan's special ability besides that? Carrying things? Okay. Well, Anyway. His special ability was Porco's inferiority complex.
Aww.
I do feel bad that I loved Porco, and here Falco gets Zeke and Eren's. Like, it's like Porco doesn't matter. Porco just like, what was the point? I don't know.
Well, he had a good death. I mean,
he had a great death.
Some characters are just there to die. He was there to be mad at Reiner, which, to be fair, if I knew Reiner, I'd probably bully him too. And he was there to die. And he did both things.
I mean, to be honest, though, like, I feel like this was a long time coming with Falco. Like, how could this like the whole thing about there being a flying titan has been mentioned so often since the Marley arc. I mean, come on, how is this an asshole? I think because people like the Marleyans have said like, oh, like about Zeke's titan, oh, it looks the same as before. But they never said, like, to what extent. It's more like, oh, it's good at throwing. But hey, you know, I still think Xavier's was a mole. And he could have thrown very well as well, perhaps.
By saying the Beast Titan is historically not good in battle, Xavier's made that point. The Beast Titan is typically not good in battle. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's because they're all monkeys. It could, maybe that's like the more unpredictable power. And it was called the Beast Titan.
Yeah, not the monkey or the ape titan or something. It's the beast.
I've heard too. So actually, the Beast Titan being any animal, we asked in the poll all of these new plot points. Only 14% of the fandom thought that that part was particularly forced. Like that, the Beast Titan being any animal, collectively, in fact, 52% have nodded their head and said, yeah, that works for me. That was not a moment that anybody took great objection to. The one that people have taken the most objection to was 36% do not like. They think that it's been forced that Falco would become the Flying Titan. And like you guys have both said, it seems pretty natural to me. Like the writing was on the wall like 40 different ways. But I think like I was in a Discord yesterday trying to find out like what is your beef with this? What is the beef? And they feel like, if I'm understanding correctly, it's like that it was a meme and now it's just like they're just more like groaning and rolling their eyes at it.
Okay, because like it people were joking about it in the manga and like they like joking about it and then it became reality.
Yes, and now it's not.
But like
it's more cringeworthy.
Yeah, but I think it makes sense because why else would Falco's Titan look like a bird? Because he always, you know, the whole bird thing has been so obvious the last couple of chapters, but especially with Falco, even aside from his name. And we all know that Isayama loves his names.
Yes. Historia, Falco, Porco.
Porco Galliard, yeah.
I think maybe what people take objection to might be that it's like a really obvious setup. Because, like, I mean, this is what we were complaining about with 125 and 126. Everybody separated only to immediately get back together again, at which point, why separate? Like, Annie could have just gotten on the plane. Why have this second plot arc of Annie hesitating for a moment, and then, like, 2 chapters later, just flying there on Falco to save the day? It's so funny! The image in my head is so hilarious. Just Annie, like, deadpan looking, and Falco, like, doing his... I'm guessing Gabby's gonna be there, too, because Gabby's just the strongest character in the manga at this point.
She will one-shot all those colossals.
I hope so. But
that's
yeah,
where all
anyway,
the bombs are for like Gabby to throw those at the.
Can't you see Gabby on the plane throwing the weapons out the window and like incinerating them? As I can see it happening.
If people think it's forced, I think it's forced in the sense that, like, it's there because Annie needed to hesitate for a second so she could have that obvious scene where she goes back to save everyone. But other than that, I don't think it's forced.
Can something be considered forced because it was just too obvious? Like, it's almost like they think that it's forced because it's too predictable, which is a contradiction to me, but they just hate it. People hate this. I cannot believe the majority, like, okay, so looking at Falco becoming a flying titan, 37% think it's forced, 33% are kind of neutral on the idea, and only 30% say that it's natural. So that's the one where the majority think that it was like forced. So
maybe it has to do with the fact that it took Zeke's spinal fluid and a different Titan to get here. Like if he had eaten the Beast Titan, maybe people would be more open to it.
So that's the next one. So the next one, the plot point, Falco getting Zeke's memories. 28% called that one forced. And again, I have no issue with this. Do you guys have any narrative issue with Falco getting memories from Zeke's spinal injection?
I mean, hasn't that been happening all over the place recently with all the path stuff?
I mean, that's how memories happen, is through this, like, you get your power through spinal fluid. They get their memories of their predecessor through spinal fluid. Falco got Zeke's spinal fluid. Like, why is there
but he ate more of, like, Porco's spinal fluid. So the fact that he got, like, Zeke's dream, like, he's not even, like, as far as we know, like, connected by blood to Zeke. He's not, like, the direct successor of the Beast Titan. So I don't understand why he would get that memory. So to me, it did feel a bit forced, like, oh, shit, I need something for plot convenience.
Well, definitely. I mean, it definitely was that, but it's not impossible in what we know of Titan biology and physiology.
No, it would make sense that maybe ingesting, but that makes me wonder then, because like we know that like Eren ingested like armored spinal fluid to get the hardening ability. Did he ever get memories from that former armored Titan?
It could have been possible. So theoretically, Eren could have whatever armored Titan's memories. He could have gotten them at that moment, yes.
Unless there is a time loop.
Oh God, don't mention time travel.
And future Eren plays Reiner's fluid in the Rex Cavern.
I think you just figured it out.
Oh, I really hope there's no like time loop or stuff like that, because I read people saying like, they're already in the time loop, and that's why Mikasa is having those headaches, because like it's like kind of like a Get Out, where like the part of the brain that was originally there is like creeping out and saying like, no, get out, run, and then the person whose brain was implanted takes over again.
Oh, I see.
It's so weird. I hope it's not something like that, because it would become incredibly convoluted. I mean, it is a convoluted story in many ways, but
we're skirting on the edge of time travel bullshit, and I feel like we've not thrown ourselves off the cliff yet, but we're skirting that edge. Like, do we want to go there?
It's inevitable. I mean, like the chapter 1 is called "To You in 2,000 Years," which implies that. And then we met Ymir, and then we got Path's time travel shenanigans, and now the theory that it's Mikasa holding baby Eren, saying "You are free."
I like the theory that it's Zeke at the end of the manga, just because that would piss Levi off. I like Levi. It's just funny to me.
I laughed so hard at him this chapter. Like, oh, Eren, you are killing everyone in this entire world. Well, if you stop now, I'll only kick your ass for a little bit. And then Zeke, who killed my precious Erwin, must kill Zeke. Like, it's not even like, let's disconnect Zeke from Eren to stop this from happening. No, we have to kill Zeke to stop this from happening.
Guys, I think killing Zeke would help. I don't know how it's going to help, but I think it would help.
Auntie said it would, so we got to do it.
Not even sure if Zeke's still alive, but I have to kill him.
Kill him.
It works.
Does it?
I mean, for me, obviously, I think like I know a lot of people are like they like memeing the must kill monkey thing, but I know for people like in my ship community, we're all just like, yep, accepted.
You're just like, I think Levi should have his revenge because I mean, Erwin's dead and nothing is going to heal that hole in my heart.
Yeah. So the other reveal that the female Titan is able to manifest other Titan powers, possibly by eating portions of those Titans. 27% of the fandom have decided that that is unreasonable or that it felt forced.
Huh? Okay. That one surprises me.
I feel like this one doesn't surprise me at all because like you were saying, Luna, Eren chomped a fluid and got a power up. So the fact that she's got all these power ups makes sense. But I think maybe part of the 27% that don't like this is because like early in the chapter, she's like, oh, I could eat a bird. And then like 3 panels later, if you eat a bird, you'll become a bird. So
Burbot is a bird.
So they're not going to be flying on Falco. Annie and Falco are both going to be flying.
Yes.
Is that where we're going?
That's
how I read it.
I don't understand how all the people were like, oh, Annie's going to fly on Falco. No, they're both going to be flying. She's going to eat a part of Falco's ass, and then she's going to be flying too.
And then Gabby's just going to be on Falco's back, because there's no way Gabby's just not going to be there. She's the most powerful character in the manga.
You know that scene from Neverending Story? That's been memed so many times now for Gabby and Falco.
Oh my God, I love it. It's the best thing ever, guys. It's the funniest thing to happen in this manga.
I am fist bumping you, Link. I read this and I'm seriously like, oh yeah, this will be fun. Like the fantastical, like this is a shonen manga. And like you said, X-Men at work, it's also a fantasy. And these little fantasy elements are happening. I'm okay with it.
If you're gonna get upset about it, you would have gotten upset about it a long time ago with the Reiner.
Yep.
Oh, actually, I can put my brain in my spine. Like that seems more unreasonable to me than Falco being a bird.
So, is it possible Isayama drew Annie like extra sexy to soften the blow?
I think it's for all the Aru Annie shippers who are like going crazy over the past few chapters.
Luna, my understanding is that your job is to mention Annie's appearance.
Right. Yes. Apparently, Isayama has been paying attention to Annie's physique and most especially her rear end.
You know, like we joke about like Erwin, like the flat aspen, Eren, Mikasa, hers is almost inverted at some points. Like the dude cannot draw. He can draw like he can draw horse rumps. Yeah, he can draw Titans.
Have you seen Reiner's ass?
I don't know. Like finally he got Annie right.
Can I say something that might be controversial? I like Isayama's art style and I think he's really good at some things, but I've never really found any of the characters super hot. With the exception of Erwin. I don't think that's going to be a controversial statement. Like, the only character that has been attractive to me in the manga is Erwin. I don't know why. It's just that forehead, man.
Some of the ladies are beautiful. I find Historia gorgeous. Like, I do think some of them are very attractive. But the guys, I'm with you on that. Like, objectively looking at Levi or John sometimes is cute. But, like, Reiner this chapter, what was up with Reiner's face? Like, sometimes Reiner is beautiful.
I like Reiner, but I love his dork beard, but I think that was like the ugliest beard.
I think the problem with the attractiveness is that they're never consistent. And Reiner this chapter was so inconsistent. Like, Luna, what was up with your boy?
Yeah. Is it me or did this chapter feel a little bit rushed? Because like normally he pays a bit more attention when he's drawing Reiner's face. There's a bit more detail to it. And I feel like this time around it was just a bit, I don't know if it took him longer to plan out this chapter.
Maybe.
He looked like a saggy old man.
He looked, there was just he was super skinny.
Yeah.
Unless he's lost a ton of weight.
What, overnight?
I don't know. He put some effort into Annie, though. I think we can agree he put some effort into.
he spent so much time drawing Annie's ass that every other character could just kind of half-assed.
I feel like that. It's like, oh wait, I've got to draw Reiner now. You know, after he spent 3 hours on Annie's hair, Annie's posture leaning across, you know, yeah.
I still think most panels of Reiner this chapter are good. I think the scans we saw, the ventilation scans, were a bit rough. Made it look worse.
Oh yeah, the scans. I mean, no offense, because like, you know, it's people doing it for free, so you can't complain too much. But they were a little bit murky.
True. But, you know, I'm not too worried about it, because apparently Annie also says, like, well, you know, every Titan can do it, but it's particularly easy for the female. So maybe she can use, at least in the official translation, so maybe it's easier for her to use the hardening power, because it took Eren quite a while, right, to master the hardening power, and I think maybe she would be able to do it fairly quickly, or maybe immediately.
I did see somebody mention that in the female Titan arc, like she actually did take chunks out of Eren. Like she was trying to eat him.
Oh yeah, she was.
They're thinking that if this is true, that the female Titan can eat a portion of another, she should have gained some of Eren's powers, because she did eat chunks of him. But because, you know, that people who have not enjoyed this development or have called it inconsistent, they certainly are able to say, okay, but this happened and you know, and this happened, and build a strong case for the fact that this was probably not planned from chapter 36 on. I agree with Link that, you know, when 19-year-old Hajime Isayama drew all the Titans, he drew a woman Titan because it looked really cool, and he didn't give a lot of thought into like, oh, what happens if a guy eats it? What happened? You know, does he become a female Titan? You know, it was like 19-year-old Hajime Isayama was like, oh, that's really cool. And now he's having to live with those decisions. And now they're X-Men.
And
I'm just like, you know what? He's been writing a chapter every month for 10 years. It's not all going to be consistent, but it all works.
It's not a game breaker is the thing.
But I think for a lot of people it is this chapter. Like there's a lot of upset going on that, or maybe not everywhere, but in certain discords that I'm in, especially the ones that are like primarily like the Jaegerists or people that enjoy the death, the destruction, the badass attitude of Eren. I'm going to destroy, like they're feeling a little betrayed right now from this chapter.
I mean, I guess like I want to think there is a little bit of a point with because I don't like thinking people are totally wrong in their reading of things. I think like everybody has a good point to make. So I want to think there's a little bit of a point that like, as we've said, as you guys have said, that post 126, the Alliance coming together, they don't really have much of a plan, and they kind of all flopped together. So like rooting for like Eren does at least seem to have a plan. The plan is a stupid plan, but it is at least a plan. Whereas like the guys coming together, I wouldn't want to see them win through plot convenience. I'd want to see them like feel like they've actually come together and proven something, not like, oh, okay, anyway, Falco and Annie can fly now, and that's going to be very convenient later on. So I can get that. I get that they probably wanted to feel earned, as opposed to, here's my superpower that I just now mentioned. It's just all of the fights in Attack on Titan are like this, so it doesn't really bug me. Like, it wasn't that the entirety of the, like, I love Return to Shinigashina is my favorite arc. And I love that. And that entire arc is like, all right, we're going to do this now. All right, we're going to do, it's like, it's not really a fight so much as everybody, the next person pulls out their new tactic that totally turns the fight around.
Yeah, I guess I'm with you on that. The people that make an argument against it, I can see their logic, but it's not a deal breaker for me. This was not a deal breaker for me. Luna, do you think we'll actually see Falco and Annie flying, or will they just sort of like, will we see the transformation and then will we see them land?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. No, we'll see them both flying, both coming. I don't know how Annie's Titan will fly. She will like grow angel wings. She will be like Gatomon, transforming into Angemon.
Awesome. You guys are making me really love this idea, and I was totally down for it.
So yeah, no, I am looking forward to seeing that baby fly. I'm so happy. Finally a flying titan.
Here I thought Falco was going to be safe till the epilogue, or I'd hoped Falco would be safe. Nope. Kid's flying.
Why must people put Falco in danger? Honestly, like, I love Eren. I also want him to die. I love Mikasa. I don't want her to die, but it could happen. I don't think Armin's gonna die, but it could happen. The only two characters at this point that I really don't want to die, besides Anya Capon, who deserves to live, as we said earlier, is Falco and Gabby, because they've just been through too much. Just let them off. They have like the least to do with all this, and they suffer the most.
By the way, I have to ask you too, because when you first saw the panel, like of Falco's dream, so all him like the clouds, him flying above the clouds, did it remind you of Eren?
Yep.
And his
it I mean, it's clearly a motif that's going around.
I mean, it is possible if Falco is going to be the one that ends Eren, that these are future Attack Titan memories, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, what if these are Eren's memories or future memories?
It could be. And it would explain why Falco is in the memory shard, right? Like it could be that Falco is the future Attack Titan and therefore gets that memory transfer as well.
Man, Falco's just getting all the Titans. He's just going to end up with all 9 Titans.
I thought we put that option on the poll because I know like Cloudy in the poll Discord got really excited at the idea that this was actually Eren communicating whether or not Falco's going to be the future Attack Titan or not, that this is why Falco's face is in that memory shard when he's looking at the birds. It could be a motif, or it could be a sign that this is Eren summoning Falco. I don't know which I like better.
It could go either way. So I don't know. So we'll see. If he does transform into what if it's Eren and he can't even transform into a bird? That would be so funny.
He can't have bird powers.
It's like, oh yeah, we want to fly, and it's like, oh crap, and so they just have to turn the ship around and hope that they'll get there in time.
Or they've already sunk the ship, like Kiyomi speculated. So somebody else was saying how cool it would be if the ship does sink, because Yelena's first memory that we see of the Beast Titan, which convinced her to follow him, was seeing his power manifested while she was in a lifeboat. And if now she sees Falco utilize, I don't know, like it could be poetic.
Yelena just cannot catch a break.
It could be poetic.
Yelena's another one of those characters that I just kind of want to live to the end of the manga.
Really?
They just don't seem to die.
Could the boat, do you guys think the boat will sink?
Yeah, seems like it.
You do?
They made a long fuss over it, so.
Yeah.
Do you think so, Luna?
I just want to know if they'll warn Yelena beforehand or just be like, nah, let her go down with the ship.
Bye, Yelena!
I think if it's going to happen, I would like to think that Kiyomi will bring everybody on the deck for the transformation. That way, if they go down, they at least know they're going down. Because, and again, like there could be that poetic sense of Yelena seeing the newer Beast Titan.
And also, like, this ship is like the new Titanic, like not enough rescue, like rescue boats, like everyone's gonna die in the waters. I'll never let go, Kiyomi.
All that's left is Fort Salta. Corinna is alive.
Ugh. Corinna is alive.
Back to the whole, was this natural, forced, or neutral? 22% of our fandom was not happy with this development.
Really? It seemed so obvious to me that they were still.
Maybe that's why they hate it.
Did they not see how much of a boss that Annie's dad was being?
Oh, they were like, he's crippled and old. He won't be able to do anything.
I don't know how I feel. Like I knew it was coming, or I knew they were alive. I knew the refugees I knew Papa Leonhardt was alive. But them
You almost
showing
said
up,
Papa Blouse.
yeah, them showing up at Fort Salta, like the reunion potentially that could happen, that to me does feel a little bit forced. Like the fact I knew they were alive. I knew they were going to convince the guards that, we're going to die if you don't do something. But them showing up at Fort Salta, I'm kind of in that camp where I'm okay with it because I would love to see the reunion.
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean,
is it a little...
I thought part of the thematic power of the manga was them deciding to save the world anyway, even though all their loved ones might be dead. So it does weaken on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they still don't know that they're alive, right? So it's
Or that they're dead in the case of Colt.
Shut up.
Colt might be alive.
I'm holding on to the hope, right? People can live.
I mean,
Yes.
Colt didn't do anything wrong. He just wanted his brother to be okay and then didn't let go when Falco turned into Bird Boy.
Yeah.
I mean, it could
I
have
love how they
happened.
say, "Oh, they're with our son. He's strong. They'll be fine." I'm like, "Oh Lord."
Oh no.
Oh, felt so bad. Like those parents have been through enough.
I kind of feel like the kids will have the reunion with their parents, but I think Annie's going to get there after Mr. Leonhardt dies. I don't know that she's going to get to see her
Aw.
dad. I think she's going to know that he lived, and it's going to become somebody to fight for. But I'm not. I mean, I
Why,
would
did he get
love for
shot?
them. No, but I mean, like the bombs are about to start dropping, and they're
okay.
gonna climb. I mean, they're in a precarious situation. The Titans are coming. Stuff is happening. I would love for there to be a family reunion, but I'm not overly optimistic that Annie's going to get to hug her daddy. I don't know.
I think it's kind of like the Mikasa thing, where Mikasa kind of has to let go of Eren. Annie's one objective has been to get back home, so she kind of has to let go of that, even though it's, mean.
But is it before or after the hug that she lets go of that?
I hope it's after the hug.
What if she has to choose? Like, oh, I can go and reunite with my father, or I have to go and stop Eren. And then she chooses to go with everyone else to stop Eren.
It'll be interesting.
Like, because she doesn't have to at that point, right? She's like, but I really hope he won't die, because like he has that survival instinct. Like, remember when Eren went ham on Liberio and he just pushed Karina out of the way, like, move, bitch, get out the way.
Mhm.
And also this so fun. Like, he just like was like, yeah, I'm holding a gun and you're gonna take all of us to Fort Salta.
I'm gonna take all of the Eldians and move us somewhere else.
He's just so badass.
I had been hopeful of a reunion, and I can't remember specifically if this is one of those points where you've said to me wrong manga or not. But I mean, was this something that was a wrong manga moment for you when I said, "Oh, they're going to meet up with the refugees and have a reunion," or did you think that this would happen too?
I think because they were still alive, like it would be inevitable that they would get a reunion. It was just kind of like the question of when. So is it going to be at the end of the story, or is it going to be like next chapter? That was
no. Of course, it's going to be right in the middle of a Titan battle because we can't.
It should be right then.
What is up with why can't we have nice things?
I think we know the answer to that.
Wrong manga.
You've only been reading this manga for what, 3 years? 4?
Oh, much longer.
7.
Yeah.
Remember when we did the survival and the death bracket?
Yeah.
Like, I figured people like Falco's parents would be, they're refugees. They're going to be doing what refugees do and running away from danger. And, and here they're all in the battle scene now. So like, I think when I went through and clicked check boxes that they would survive, now it's not quite.
Can
so
I just
clear.
say that they are moving south and they are moving to like a strategic point with where they know airships are, which probably go faster than a train. So is it like that weird that they would go there? Like it
I guess not.
It's not like a random town or a random place in the middle of nowhere.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. So this does make narrative sense because Papa Leonhardt is going there to get on an airship because they're all going to fit on a blimp and then they're all going to fly to safety. So there better be one airship left.
Hopefully.
For all Eldians.
Isayama is the god of narrative convenience, so there probably will just be a really big one that they forgot to say.
So it's possible that all the parents are going to get on a airship, on a blimp, and that the Gabby and Falco will arrive, and their parents are going to want to like drag them onto the blimp, and they're going to say no, and yeah. And Papa Leonhard is going to have to either get on the blimp or help his daughter. And it's going to be sad.
Man, what if Papa Leonhard just got on Annie while she was flying and they like took him down as a father-daughter combo? And that's how Papa Leonhard dies, just fighting like a boss.
I could accept that. What's the chance that Eren's Titan form can rear up on his hind legs and use those little spiky things to knock ships out of the air?
I'm 90% sure that's what's going to happen because, I mean, like I said, in Godzilla, the planes never do anything. So, they're just there to make Eren look cool when he kills all of them.
So, that scene where Sasha is holding up the bug to scare, or no, it's not Sasha, it's Peak, right? Who's holding up the bug to scare Annie?
No, it's Sasha. Sasha's holding up a beetle and Connie is holding up 2 frogs.
Right. So, and Eren is like this creepy crawly thing now. And I couldn't help but see like Centipede Titan rearing up on his back, little tiny skinny back legs and flailing his rib things around like insect legs. And I don't know, like that. I blame that bug for that vision.
I love how like Bert is standing there like, Annie, are you okay? And Reiner is just standing there like looking forward, smiling, like in that panel. It's so weird. Anything else on?
Nope.
Okay, so that was it for our chapter discussion. Let's go to some questions from our listeners. First one is from Shanto. Shanto asked, we learned that the female Titan can add parts of other Titan shifters onto itself. So Annie has the crystal shell, like the Warhammer Titan had, and she's hardening like the armor, etc., etc. Where does her screaming ability come from? Or do we think that's something inherent to the female Titan?
I mean, wouldn't it come from Zeke? Isn't Zeke's big thing the screaming?
But it would mean that she had to have eaten a portion of Zeke.
And she did, probably.
They were in the same place.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like Annie was just having a buffet of other Titans because she's just got so many abilities right now.
Yeah, but that's what she said. Like, they just experimented so much.
That's really disturbing. Like, to think that happened to her.
Yeah, so, like, Zeke can scream and he can turn people with his spinal fluid into Titans. So maybe she got part of that as well, where part of the Titans... Was it all the Titans that listened to her? Or just...
I think what actually happened is Isayama wrote that, and he was like, wouldn't it be cool if while they had Annie in this trap, she screamed, and then all the Titans came running, and now he's justifying it. But I also think it's like half of Zeke's ability, because Zeke can scream, and then all these Titans will come a-running. And especially if that was from royal blood, like the Beast Titan didn't originally do that, but the royal blood kind of gave him that ability. If she ate from Zeke with the royal blood in him, I guess that would kind of make it so she could kind of do that too.
I think even in the early volumes, it's been theorized that the reason why all the Titans started pouring into the walls was because Annie's scream, basically she has the ability to control the Titans. So Annie's scream... Zeke's scream can control the Titans. It can give them a will and a purpose. Only the ones
that were formed with his spinal fluid. And I don't think all the Titans that came towards Annie were formed with his spinal fluid. Like also the female Titan king. Oh, sorry, the smiling Titan, I mean.
Right,
like,
Zeke's Titans came as well.
We know for sure that wasn't created with Zeke's spinal fluid.
Wait, you're right. They were not created with his. Yeah.
So that's kind of weird why she would be able to control more Titans than Zeke would with her scream.
I don't think she controls them. I honestly just think she attracts them.
Maybe
somehow.
That's more like it. Yeah, so it's more like like Zeke has control over them, but she can just kind of like group them together. She's like a Titan herder, a mindless Titan herder.
I mean, yeah, isn't that what happened? Because like Annie screams, but like Annie also has to get out of there because she doesn't have total control over them.
They will end up eating her as well. Yeah.
We didn't talk about that, but the idea of her being like basically like a medical experimentation and all the things, like it just really, it was a panel, but it's one of those panels that I would imagine I tried not to think on too closely because it's really dark.
Yeah, if it's true, they might want to spend more time on that because that's insanely dark to offhandedly mention.
Yeah, I have an issue. Like that does seem like it happens sometimes in the story where things just get like dropped, but they're like really, really icky. So maybe best not to drop them at all. But yeah.
All right. Well, I hope that answers your question, Shanto. Then the next question or remark is from Paris. Paris is mentioning the season 2 opening, Shinzo Sasageyo, and the scene where the Beast Titan is running, and beside him we see dinosaurs and flying whales and God knows what else. And now, because we think it might have been an Easter egg, now that we probably will see Falco as a flying Titan / bird. So, yeah, was that season 2 opening? Was that a deliberate Easter egg, or was just that making fun of the name?
Honestly, I think all the season openings spoil like a ton of the manga because if you go and watch it now, you're like, oh, hey, there's the 3 daughters. Hey, there's the one ending where they like spoil the the cannibalism of Ymir like way early.
Yeah.
Wasn't that like season 2's ending?
But, yeah, season 2's ending. Yeah, that basically was like the whole Titan origin story.
I mean, even like the imagery, like there's a lot of child Eren coming back now, and that was the big thing for the season 3's opening was Eren sitting on the wall, and all the 3 children of them, and little baby Eren runs around big Eren and just seems kind of confused. Like you could even say that's build up.
I mean, I really hated the opening at first, like for season 3, like part 1, and then I was like, oh no, this makes sense because he is really the fallen angel. He is Lucifer. Good to know.
I guess for me, I hope it was a deliberate Easter egg because to this day, up until this chapter, I was like, why the heck are all these animals running in this opening? Like it made no sense to me at all. So if this is where that came from, then I'm very pleased with it because otherwise it was just such a big, what the heck moment.
I can kind of explain it. Do you want to hear my like half-assed explanation?
Of why whales are running with dinosaurs in the season 2? Yes, go lay it on me.
So I think it's about because part of Attack on Titan's theme is like survival, and there's this weird they keep coming back, the world is cruel, survival of the fittest, etc., etc. So I think it was just like there to symbolize evolution, and the Beast Titan is a monkey. Why is he a monkey? Because monkeys are the most highly evolved animals, but he came from the evolution of the dinosaurs to the whales, because that's how evolution works. We came from dinosaurs. No, we didn't. But I think it's that simplified form, like the pressure to evolve and fight. And the Beast Titan is one. It was like a really weird Titan to show up because that's when Titans started getting X-Men powers. We didn't really have that before that point. Like that's the entire point of Mikha's character is to die from this really, really weird Titan that he can't predict or control. And the other part was it's like this is the survival of the fittest that all the characters have been fighting against the whole time, and the Beast Titan is just the latest adversary.
I guess the chapter with Mikasa when she was a child making the determination that the world was cruel and beautiful, it was looking at elements of nature that helped her to make that. So when I first saw beasts running in the OP there, I was like, is that the statement we're trying to make? So
it's very silly.
Yes. So I like the fact that it was I will gladly accept that it was an Easter egg for the Beast Titans all being various animals. I like that better.
I like that better than the very silly one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then for our final question is from Minty, who asks a nihilistic or uplifting ending. What's your preference and what's your prediction? Linky, Linky. Linky.
Oh, actually, plenty of people call me Linky.
Okay.
And some people call me Kinky, but we don't talk about that. Okay, so my prediction, I think that we are going to get like a full uplifting ending. Like I think Eren's gonna die for sure, but I don't even think Eren's death is gonna be like the most. I know I said I think Mikasa is gonna kill him, but like in a happy way? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? No, I mean like I think they're at least going to get a catharsis where like they get to talk and Mikasa is like, well, I can't live on with you anymore, but I really did love you, and I hope you can understand that, Eren, that there was a lot of people who loved you, but also what you've done can't be forgiven, and, you know, we gave you, like, 2,000 chances, and you were still like, brr, Titan machine, go brr, time to rumble. But anyway, I think we're gonna get a very happy ending where most of the characters who have character arcs are going to survive, and it's going to be earned off of the very sad deaths of the characters who don't have character arcs. But I think Armin and Mikasa are going to make it through, and I don't think Reiner will die because Reiner really wants to die, and I don't think we should give Reiner what he wants.
What about Levi?
I think
Levi?
Levi, yeah, obviously, but also Levi will have to learn to live with the fact that Zeke is still alive.
So you think Levi's gonna live?
If Levi died avenging and joined all of his comrades, that's what Levi would want. So I think he's gonna live, because Levi's entire thing, this whole manga, has been the fact that he just keeps living while everybody else around him dies, even Hanji and Erwin. So I think Levi is going to retire on a farm somewhere.
Link, do you think the afterlife was real, or do you think that it was fake?
I never know with those kinds of things. It feels weird, you know, when they kind of don't establish an afterlife, when it's like half there and half. I don't think the afterlife is. I think it's like. I honestly just think it's kind of like a dying hallucination on Hanji's part. It's what Hanji wanted to see, which is all of her comrades welcoming her back again, instead of what they probably deserve, which is like, Hanji, you should have come up with a better plan than kill yourself.
One of these days we're going to have a guest who agrees with me that it was not a dying hallucination. So
I'm sorry.
Luna, I am dying to know, because we have talked about your vision of the ending, and you have mentioned your thoughts have changed. So asking the question to you, nihilistic or uplifting, what's your preference and what's your prediction?
Okay, so I think my preference is still the same, like it's somewhere in the middle, because I think completely nihilistic would be like kind of pointless and not in line with the feel of this manga. But, an uplifting ending, I think, would fall in the same category. That would really make much sense based on what's come before. Prediction-wise, I feel like it's going to end on a happier note than I originally thought, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, if Eren wants to die, like, let's just kill him and get this over with, and then we can move on with rebuilding the world. Yay! And everyone will live happily ever after. I hope there's more to it. Like, let me put it like that.
I want the cycle to be broken. Like, I told you guys about, like, how I think Mikasa's stuck in a cycle and Annie's stuck in a cycle. I want to see the characters make definitive steps breaking the cycle, but I don't want to be like, and then the evil was defeated and everyone got better. I just want to see the characters, but I think most of the characters who have arcs are going to live to the end of those arcs. That's just what I mean by that. Except for Connie. Bye, Connie.
Yeah. And and I think I'm in agreement with Link. I don't want Reiner to get his wish. So where do you stand, Momtaku?
I think whether it's an uplifting ending or not depends on who your favorite characters are. Like if you're expecting, I'm with you. Like I don't think it's going to be a Pyrrhic thing or a nihilistic. I think it's going to veer towards being uplifting. And that is what I have always wanted from this series was, I expect people are going to die. I expect it's going to be bad. I expect I'm going to cry, but I don't want to feel like nothing good came of the journey. And if something good comes of the journey, then to me, it's uplifting. Even if it's, awful, bloody. I've lost Erwin already. If I lose every other character I care about, as long as their deaths mattered and a change has happened and a future is better, then I am happy. Wrong manga?
Maybe not. Not anymore. I don't.
We're slowly making our way there.
I think so.
All right. Next chapter is the closing one of the volume.
Yes.
So that means that we're going to get hopefully something amazing. What are you hoping to see, Luna?
Flying Falco, Papa Leonhardt, kicking some ass, and I want them to reach like Eren's Millipede Titan. And I think this must be the scene from the final audio because there was a train, so noise in the background as well, right? In the final
All the
audio.
elements are there.
So this has to be it.
There.
We're here. We're in the end game now.
Yep. What about you, Link? What are you wanting to see?
You guys took mine because I was gonna say I just want to see fucking Promise. Not Promise Neverland, Never Ending Story. I just want to see Gabby and Falco like majestically flying into battle. I think they should do it the cheesiest way possible. Like just when all hope is lost and the plane breaks, just Gabby comes and is like, why do I have to do everything for you guys? And then Falco picks them all up, and I don't know, maybe Armin falls down, and Armin just doesn't use the Power Titan, because Armin doesn't want to be useful, and so Annie just picks him up out of the air and catches her boyfriend, and they kiss, and they start making out, and then they just start kicking ass. I think we should go for the cheesiest possible when Annie swoops in and saves the day.
Annie catching Armin and carrying him bridal style. Is that what we're going for?
But also, I'd actually like to get to, I mean, this has probably been repeated about 1,000 times, but I'd like to get to the end of whatever Eren and Historia's conversation was and get to that, because it feels like we've been dancing around that forever.
Yeah, my wish for that is a 135. I would like Historia. I do want to get Zeke in 133 or 134. I would at least want to know where Zeke is and if he's attached or not. I would like a little bit of Eren and Zeke action in this volume closer, and then Historia in the next one. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I just want to mention.
I didn't break a foot this time.
Yeah, let's explain what happened last month. You want to tell what happened last month? What you did?
Okay, let's just put it this way. So catastrophes happen every podcast that we record, yes? Like there's always something that goes wrong. So this particular podcast, we're actually using some of our Patreon money, to record on Zencaster instead of Discord. So fingers crossed that what goes wrong this month has nothing to do with that, because if we lose this recording, that would be like the ultimate awful that has happened to us.
Especially considering how hilarious I am, but anyway.
Yes, I would not want to lose a word of it. So hopefully that will be like, the recording will be good. We'll have a quality, no dropouts, no lag interference, or any of the problems that we've had before with our recording. Yes, this could be our first ever podcast that bad things didn't happen.
Why do you gotta jinx it like that? Okay, I got my wood.
Well, okay, so last podcast, literally the moment before I clicked record, I tripped over a chair and broke my foot and recorded the entire podcast with a broken foot.
Oh, is your foot okay now?
I was able to like climb the steps to get to my office today, so that's really good.
So how embarrassed when you told your doctor about how you completely unnecessarily hurt your foot?
Yeah, tripping over a chair. Nothing cool. I wish it had been cool. But what's really funny is like our last podcast was, there was portions of it where I am literally in the background audio track. We have separate audio tracks for everybody. And mine sounds like heavy breathing and groaning and, like it sounds like a monster movie track. I'll use that
it sounded like an adult phone line. Like, it was really funny listening back to it, but that was like the only good thing about it. I just want to thank everyone who sent in a question. If we didn't mention your question now, it's because we already answered it in the podcast. If you still want to know something more from us, please leave a comment on our episode and we will get back to you. And now, before we say goodbye,
No way.
Yes, we'll have a quick fire.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Just in the last minute, huh?
Just in the last minute, yes. No, he sent it 10 minutes ago or something, 15 minutes ago.
Oh, it came in the clutch.
Yes. So, let's start. Child Eren or adult Eren?
Adult Eren.
Child Eren.
Child Eren.
But not the spooky one.
Jean or Connie?
John.
John.
Jean. Reiner or Armin?
Reiner.
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 That one hurts me, though.
Ugh, shut up. Onyankopon or Peak?
Onyankopon.
Peak.
Peak.
Wow, guys. Feeling betrayed here.
Annie or Historia?
Oh, gosh, that one's hard. Historia?
Historia.
Annie.
Oh.
Zook return or or Historia return?
I would like... I'm sorry, but Zeke return. I miss him.
Oh. Both?
Nope. Choose.
Zeke.
Choose.
Okay, next chapter.
You choose Zeke?
Next chapter, I want Zeke, and then I want Historia right after. Yes.
Okay, I go for Zook return. Zeke or Levi?
Oh, gosh, that's hard. Zeke. I'll say Zeke.
Levi.
Zeke.
Luna.
We've betrayed Mom Taku.
I mean, you know that Levi is not my favorite character. Come on.
I know. You don't like any characters I love.
Sorry. Falco or Colt?
Falco.
Falco.
Colt.
Aww.
And then I got a remark from Polkka saying, I'm running out of characters to use. Isayama's brutal.
They're just all dead now, except for Colt, who will never die.
Yes. Let's see. Okay, so, and then the final one is more of a question. Killing Zeke ending or killing Eren ending?
Killing Eren ending.
Oh. It's an either or just...
An or, not an either or. Quickfire.
I know. Killing Zeke. Okay, Zeke.
Yeah, killing Eren ending. So that was this month's Quickfire. Thank you, Polkka, as always, for pulling through at the last minute. All right.
So that's it. Thank you for listening to our podcast. We'd like to thank Linkspooky for joining us. This has been a lot of fun, Link.
When am I going to get my $20?
You can ask our patrons.
That's right. We have Patreon money now, Link. We can share. We can start paying our guests $20 to be on the podcast. Just tell me your PayPal email and we will take
money
care
well
of that.
spent. Like, no, don't come on for free. Just like, now you have to pay. So do we pay your agent and then you get like a 20% cut of that, or how does it go?
Call my agent. It's just me with a French accent. Oh, sucker.
Yeah, it was really fun having you on, Link. And you kind of remind me of this economics teacher I had back in high school. I don't know why, but he would always have a microphone on to reach the back of the class. And we were like, dude, your voice is so loud. You don't need a microphone. Like, I was always wide awake right after his class. If I didn't sleep the night before, man, I was like, I had 5 cups of coffee and in 6 minutes. Like, that's how it felt. And that's how it felt recording with you.
I'm so sorry. It's just, I think.
No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Because
I think when I'm louder, my point is more correct than other people who are quieter than me.
That's what most people think. That's what most people think. No, because normally I go to the supermarket beforehand and get me like a big energy drink to stay awake. Because it's like late at night and I've had work and I didn't sleep so well the night before because I had work until like 11:30 at night.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to stay awake, but yeah, no problem.
Well, what I think is funny is that did I already say this? When we record a podcast, we a lot of times have never spoken to the person before. Like we literally have no idea like what gender they are or what their thoughts are, or, like they've filled out a guest application. Sometimes we get an audio. Recently, we've been asking for the audio. But, with you, Linkspooky, like we weren't sure, like, would you be chill? Would you be hype? What are we going to get? And it was like so evident within like 2 minutes, it was going to be a hype guest, which is my favorite. I love when people are hype. So it was a lot. I mean it sincerely when I say it was a lot of fun.
I'm going to give one more shout out to Kate because I think it'll cheer her up. Hi, Hamlet. I'm sorry we made the jokes about the evil twins because I know you don't like that, but to be fair, it was kind of hilarious. And that's what they looked like.
And let me yell at Hamlet too, because I do think I have mentioned them being a podcast guest and they have not yet filled out the application. And it would have been fun to have both of you. I didn't even know you guys were friends.
If you ever invite her on, I'll come back on. Or if you buy me a pizza.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we can send one to your house with our Patreon money. We'll make it happen.
Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So before we sign off, we want to thank our lovely Patreons who make this podcast happen every month. Simon, Taryn, Kenny, NM, and Silarana. Thank you all so much. I know last month we said we would have, oh my God, I can't even think of the word.
Transcription. We're still looking into that.
Yeah, so I know last month we said we would have transcription for the podcast. Unfortunately, because our recording quality on Discord hasn't been good, we're looking into different platforms. We kind of have to see if we're still able to afford the transcription, but it's still definitely on our list. We're still working on it, so please stay tuned for that. If you want to help us, support us, you can always do that by leaving a comment, liking our podcast videos or audio, or by joining us on Patreon. There will be a link down below. Thank you so much.
I think we should also mention like your 2-year anniversary wish was to hit, what was it, 500 subs? And
right, yeah.
I think we hit that.
Well, we have them now.
Yay!
I was happy for you because I don't even pay attention to that. So I was like super happy that I think we hit 520 during our second anniversary.
Yes. 2 more years before we get monetized. Woot!
I don't think the manga is going to go on for 2 more years. We'll just reread.
Link, you were saying that everything's an Evangelion reference. I go to a lot of anime cons, or pre-COVID I did, and I cannot tell you, there's always Evangelion panels. So I figured if people are still willing to talk about Evangelion, they'll be too willing to talk about Attack on Titan for another decade.
Oh, you're right. Evangelion's been having the same argument for like 20 years. You guys want to meet like 30 years from now when the world's on fire and argue about who should have been picked, Armin or Erwin in the Serum Bowl?
Let's do it. We have a date 30 years from now. Mark your calendar.
All right. I am a woman of my word.
We agree, so we'll have to get Hamlet on there too.
Okay, that's when we'll get Hamlet on, 30 years from now. Good plan.
Yes. 2050, you guys.
30 years. Great. I'll be 50 and
let's not talk about it. Thank you for offering your hearts and your ears. And see you next time.
Thank you for going to linkspooky.tumblr.com and following me.
Yes, get that plug in. All right. We really hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast. We really enjoyed recording it. So as always, thank you for offering your hearts and your ears. And until next month, bye.
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 And we are now recording.
Hello.
Yay.
Have you messaged Polkka to see if you want to do a quick fire round?
Do you want to do a quick fire, Linkspooky?
What is a Quickfire round?
Oh, you've never listened to the podcast?
Haha, you're in the doghouse now.